fire and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is dinnertainment at its best, where a delicious 7-course meal prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for any occasion. Choose from over 50 different items and combinations of teppanyaki. Looking for great dining without a show? Well, Kasai offers an awesome selection of Asian-inspired dishes and tasty sushi. Happy hour deals daily till 6 p.m. and enjoy the outdoor dining on the heated patio. So whether you're here for the open, the big game, or just a great Arizona sunshine, don't just take your guests to dinner. Take them to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse for dinnertainment. Visit KasaiScottsdale.com. That's KASAI Scottsdale.com or call 480-607-1114.
Arizona offers thousands of helpful resources for service members, veterans, and their families. But navigating the system can be confusing and overwhelming. Call 866-4AZ-VETS to talk directly to caring people professionally trained to help you. Get connected to resources and benefits at no cost. Just call 866-4AZ-VETS now. This message is brought to you by the Arizona Coalition for Military Families, the Arizona Department of Veteran Services, and Arizona's Be Connected partners.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM. And K240U Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to a Thursday edition of the Daily Blender on this January 26th as we broadcast live from the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale. This is the Daily Blender with your hosts, the sexiest man in sports talk radio, Keon Rose, sitting right over there. Really, Ralph? Lakers, purple and gold?
Purple and gold. Yeah.
That's Ralph Romano from Harman Solar. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien is on assignment as we get ready for another 3 hours of hard-hitting sports commentary and analysis.
As we're known to do around here.
Hard-hitting.
How was you guys' evening last night? You guys have a good Pippi Longstock, is Pippi No Stock, is she mad at me? Is she angry at me? Am I on her hit list?
No, I mean,
she's going to be angry at me now.
We had a 10-minute conversation about skeletons on tin roofs.
I see.
Outside of that, it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good.
Yeah, I think she may have misunderstood yesterday when I played the romantic music, and
she didn't hear my comment. That was
okay.
She says I talk too soft. I'm like, yeah, right.
Is that what it is?
That. No, but, yeah.
Okay. Keon, I saw on the Twitter today that you had Pixel up there. I'm telling that cat is plotting your death.
He's not capable because he's not very bright.
Did you see the teeth on that cat?
I mean, yeah, he's a cat. He's a predator, obviously. So,
and I rest my case.
so are dogs.
No, dogs are man's best friend. I mean, look.
I mean, not predators.
Does that
in the
look like
sense,
a predator to you back there?
Not that they're going to hunt you, but I'm just
look at him. He's dead to the world, and I'm yelling in here.
I'm just saying he's that. Look, Cecil the Wonder Dog is the descendant of wolves. You know,
yeah, he's mighty, isn't he?
He's very proud lineage.
Look
there.
at him. He's on guard right now. I could get robbed blind and murdered. He wouldn't even know. He wouldn't even flinch. Today on the program, lots of coaching moves today. There is a report. Now, yesterday we talked, although I could not substantiate that Sean Payton had wiped Arizona off the map. Today I've been hearing rumblings on the Twitterverse and from other sources. My sources tell me that the meeting is still going on.
Today?
Yeah. That he is meeting with the Cardinals, Michael Bidwell and team. There's been a lot of discussion about that happening today. Have not heard anything, but we got a lot of coaching moves today. We'll talk about that. Steph Curry got tossed from a game last night. I want to talk about that. And then how is it Brian Kelly just he didn't realize that he was getting accidentally paid by LSU over $1 million. Tell me how that y'all tell me how that happened. as they like to say in New Orleans. Y'all tell me how that happened.
That's easy. His wife handles his checks.
But first, the big news breaking about an hour ago. I got it from CBS. I don't know how Jeffrey is taking this news. Frank Reich has been hired by the Carolina Panthers. I would love to hear what Jeffrey has to say about this, but he's not here today. They found their new head coach, and it's Frank Reich. I have a question, and maybe you guys can answer it. Since he got fired from the Colts, why are the Panthers looking for Frank Reich to be their next leader and head coach? Would you not know what he can already do by what he did with the Indianapolis Colts, and why would you bring him into your ball club? Keon, I surrender the floor to you first. I want to know your thoughts on this right away.
I think that they looked at him and thought that whole situation in Indy wasn't completely his fault.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you obviously wouldn't rely on Frank Reich to choose a quarterback. That is clearly not his strength.
Isn't that what he's going to do?
But, well, the GM will. He will work with the general manager and do that. That's not just going to be him by himself.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, if you think that Frank Reich can coach, and I think he can, I'm not going to say that he's a great coach, but he's a really good coach. When everything was working in Indy, when the offensive line was healthy, when Jonathan Taylor was healthy, the year they had Phil Rivers, they made the playoffs. The year they had Carson Wentz, that's the best season Carson Wentz has had since he left Philadelphia. Since actually he destroyed his knee in Philadelphia. I mean, that one season is the only reason why Carson even gets the opportunity in Washington that he does. So Frank Reich, if he has all of his pieces, he can coach. He is a good coach, but it's, can he take you to that next level? I'm not sure about that. But from where they're coming from, I don't mind the hire at all.
What do you think about this, Ralph?
I don't think Jeffrey would be upset. I think he'd be happy, right? And it's not his problem anymore.
Yeah,
well,
that's a good point.
that's the way he's going to look at it.
I wasn't meaning that he was going to be upset, but anyway, go ahead.
I think it's a bad move by a bad organization. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It'd be like Bidwell hiring Vance Joseph as head coach. I mean, it would be that much of a bad move, in my opinion. He's not going to be able to go there and help do anything for him or help him.
Well, he's got bobblehead Darnold as his quarterback right now. Didn't they release Baker, the intercept maker?
Yeah,
he's a Ram. Well, was a Ram.
He was a Ram. So they have the bobblehead there, and that's all they have. I don't see how this is going to be any different than what's happened in Indianapolis with Frank Reich at the helm. Isn't it going to be roughly the same sort of offense? Run, pass, run, pass, run.
I mean, probably. I mean, I do like Darnold. I mean, obviously SC guy, but I do think Darnold has the talent, and if he gets in the right situation, it could be really good for him. That's not the right situation for him, in my opinion. That's not where he needs to be. So I think you're right. I think it's just going to be a lot of the same and a lot of the same results as well.
I don't, and I kind of disagree with that only because I think Frank Reich is somebody who can get more out of quarterbacks than other people were getting. He got a decent amount out of Phillip Rivers. He got more out of Carson Wentz than anybody else has managed to get out of Carson Wentz. And nobody was getting anything out of Matt Ryan this year. And then at a certain point, Jim Irsay said, "Hey, you don't get to start Matt Ryan. You have to start Sam Ehlinger or Nick Foles." So his hands were tied in that regard. Like, you're not getting anything out of those guys. The stuff that fell apart in Indy was partially his fault, but it wasn't completely his fault at all.
Sam Darnold and PJ Walker are his stable of quarterbacks. How about that winning combination?
That's amazing.
And I don't believe they have a first-round draft pick, so they're not getting any of these guys either.
No real running game to speak of. The offensive line is second only to the Arizona Cardinals in being putrid. I mean, their defense was okay, but now you may have alienated them, sending Wilkes away again. How bad do you feel? How bad do you feel for Wilkes? Second team, second time in a row, not given an opportunity to see what he can do, what Steve Wilkes can do as a head coach.
Well, he didn't deserve an opportunity in Arizona. I mean, he was pathetic, but I do think he deserved the opportunity in Carolina because I think he actually showed he could be better and he did some good with that with what they had. So I think he really got railroaded. I think it was the wrong move, my opinion.
All right, so there you go.
No
If
comment,
you,
Guillaume.
No, I mean, I did, but I didn't want to, I'm a little gun shy now because I keep my timing is bad.
Oh.
But I think that with him, I don't know how bad Wilkes was in Arizona, in large part because clearly the quarterback wasn't there. You just
Wilkes didn't have an opportunity to develop anything. I mean, he was given a Josh Rosen and a really bad team, and they didn't perform. They were one in forever. They had one win or something, 2 wins, something like that. It was a bad season all around.
The GM was so aware that he screwed up the quarterback pick that he immediately, with the first overall pick, replaced the quarterback. The coach never had a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I feel with Wilkes. And then he had more in Carolina than he did when he was here. And look at it. He did a little bit more. I can imagine that Steve Wilkes in a better situation where he has even more might do even better.
So there it is. Frank Reich out of work for only 2 months and now back into the coaching profession, moving to North Carolina. He's going to be there in Charlotte to run the Panthers organization, at least for the foreseeable future. We'll see how that because Tepper, the owner of the club, is we all know he's not patient. He's a very impatient man, and if things are not going well, I could see the move happening very quickly on Frank Reich. I don't understand why Tepper would bring in. I don't understand this. It's just kind of a shake my head and go, move.
Well, maybe he had no options.
I think he had no options, and I also think he's a guy that when he goes to hire a coach, he wants a name. He wants a splash. And of the options available,
this is like
if you're
vanilla ice cream when you go to Baskin Robbins 31 flavors. It's like, I'm walking into 31 flavors. There's 1,000 different ice creams, and I'm picking vanilla.
Well, yeah. Well, the splash would have been Sean Payton, but a lot of teams are like, listen, what are we willing to give up for that guy? At some point, of the names that were left, Frank Reich is one of the bigger names that was left. I mean, I don't know. This is just not the year.
I have nothing against Frank Reich other than he did not impress me at all in Indianapolis. It seemed like when he had a quarterback, it was okay, but it just didn't seem like he had a really good team, I think, 2 years ago, and it got away from him.
Who was the quarterback? Like, did we forget that Carson Wentz burst into flames in that Jacksonville game? I do not blame Frank Reich for this. All Carson Wentz had to do was not throw 3 interceptions in the final game of the season against the then much crappier Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't hold that against Frank. Then he had Phil Rivers.
I do, because he brought in Carson Wentz. He thought Carson Wentz was worth it.
He thought Carson Wentz was the guy, and that's where I do ding him and give him some problem. But the GM could have stood there and said, okay, you know what? I disagree. Chris Ballard has final say on everything. And he's the one that rolled with Phillip Rivers as well. He's the one that decided that Matt Ryan was the choice as well. Like, it's just at some point, Chris Ballard's got to hold the bag for some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not like Frank Reich underachieved badly with the quarterbacks that he had. They just were always a quarterback short and never quite had it.
So Jeffrey said this I don't know how many times. And I kind of believe it's true. Frank Reich had a team that was one quarterback short of being a championship contender for several seasons. And he had one job, and he couldn't figure that one job out.
Yeah, but he also had Jonathan Taylor go down with injury, which was a big part of their offense. And then the defense just wasn't the defense this last year.
And Frank Reich has say in who they bring in at quarterback, but his job isn't to choose the quarterback. That's Chris Ballard's job. Right. And Chris still has a job there. He's the guy that didn't get fired. Now, I like Ballard. I'm not saying they should have fired him. I'm just saying, Frank's head is the one that rolled because who has the ability to fire who? Ballard is Reich's boss. So down he goes. But he didn't have the quarterback, to do anything with. And if you can get a 27 touchdown, 6 interception season out of Carson Wentz, you are close to a miracle worker.
888-368-1580 is the text line. That's the fourth dimension on there, and you could join the show. That's what makes this show different than any others in Phoenix radio or anywhere else for that matter. You get to program what we're talking about. We opened up with, the breaking news about Frank Reich, new head coach for the Carolina Panthers. I think it's a bum deal for Steve Wilks. I think Steve Wilks had the locker room and he had the players working with him. And given the opportunity, I think Steve Wilks could have turned this thing around. But Tepper has decided, as the owner of this franchise, to move on from Steve Wilks and bring in Frank Reich. Let's go to the text line and see what you have to say. The Jet is on there. Jeffrey is on the beach in Mexico. Why do you keep saying he's on assignment? How do you know he's on the beach in Mexico? The Jet.
Are you also on a beach in Mexico?
Pictures, or it didn't happen. Cabana Phoenix said, oh, dear God, there's a bunch of car pictures on here. Jeffrey picked out, Jeffrey and I picked out trucks for you. I think you need the 770 horsepower Shelby Super Snake or the lifted Hummer. The Hummer is intriguing. That's intriguing. Is that you, Cabana Phoenix, in front of the Hummer? Very nice. Very nice. Black is very slimming too. So if you get me the Hummer, it won't look so big on the road because it's all black. Jiggy says, Colts fan checking in. Wright got a lot of the blame. That was Ballard's and Irsay's fault. Reich is still a quarterback whisperer. If they steal Dan Quinn, then Carolina won't be as bad off as everyone thinks. So you're thinking that Dan Quinn is going to leave the Cowboys and he's going to go to Carolina and be a defensive coordinator?
No way.
I don't see it either.
He'll be a head coach somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to leave.
It might be
he's going to
some
leave the Cowboys.
You would never leave Micah Parsons to be a defensive coordinator anywhere else.
Yeah, it's not happening.
It's just you'd be crazy.
Let's talk quietly. Incarcerated guys on the text line. Shh. We don't want to alert the Bulls. Is that what they call them? The Cards.
I don't know.
I saw it in a movie one time. Don't alert the Bulls. Why did the Panthers? What did the Panthers get? Panthers get for CMC? Didn't they get a draft pick or two? What did they get for CMC from San Francisco? Let's move on while you're researching that, Keon Rose. Big George says, I actually tend to share. I tend to share with Keon on this one. I actually like the hire of Frank Reich by the Panthers, and I don't think he was to blame for all the deficiencies of the Indianapolis Colts. I think he may be able to put a playoff team together there in Carolina. Well,
It's going to take a lot of pieces.
Well, it's going to take several years.
Yeah.
Their defense is horrible. Their offensive line is horrible. There's a question at quarterback. I know you like Sam Darnold, but he hasn't since he's been there with the Jets and with Carolina, hasn't shown me much. And granted, I'm a guy that's willing to say a quarterback needs the right situation to be in. He can't just go anywhere and everywhere. There's very few quarterbacks like, I mean, Pat Mahomes could probably go to Indianapolis or to Carolina and make the team good. Tom Brady could probably go there and make the team good. Sam Darnold, I don't think so.
Well, yeah, but those are the exceptional guys. But I think Darnold, if he ends up with the right coach, it could make it work because the tools are there.
Well, we're going to see because now Frank Reich, the quote unquote quarterback whisperer.
I mean, I point to the Carson Wentz season because the only reason why I was able to kind of come to peace with Washington making that trade was like, look at what Frank Reich did with Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that if there's a way that you can put an offense around that dude to where you maximize his strengths and minimize his weaknesses. And obviously there's just some games you can't hide it. He's just going to do what Carson Wentz does. Also about the McCaffrey thing, the Panthers did trade McCaffrey, but they traded him for 4 draft picks, including a second, third, and a fourth round pick in this upcoming draft. and then a 5th rounder in 2024. So no first round picks, and the
So
Panthers don't have a first round.
They second, 3rd, and a 4th round pick in this one.
Yeah.
Is that what I heard you say? All right, so there is some draft capital that they may be able to bring some key talent in that they need. Oh, I don't know, maybe wide receivers.
For sure. And they've got a good defense already. It's
Do
not,
they?
yeah. I mean, Brian
Okay.
Burns is on that defense. Jeremy Chin, the safety, is on that defense. It's a good defense.
Is Jeremy
It's-
Chin is now? Wait a minute. Is he the chin balancer guy?
He
we
is
keep
not,
talking about
he is
here on
not
this
the chin
program?
balancer. His name
He's
just,
not.
his last name just happens to be Chin.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
So yeah, I just think that they have talent on that defense. It's not an elite one, but it's a solid defense. It's a good place for.
So you're
coach to
saying
show up
it's
and
a
build.
starting place then? Is
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean it is, and so like they're gonna try and build up that offensive line, rebuild that running game, which there are options in this draft for. I don't know if this is the best offensive line draft, to be honest with you, but like there's
This
guys
would
to
like
be
a
had at wide
defensive
receiver.
draft, some wide receivers in this draft, right?
Yeah.
It's not an offensive line, guys. Okay.
It's not, no.
888-368-1580. Yeah, I know we're late. Heavy Metal Maniac says, I like the fact that Dan Quinn is staying with the Cowboys. Okay. Heavy Metal Maniac, is he a Cowboy? I forget.
Who said he's staying?
Well, we
he's
said he's
interviewing.
not going to move to Carolina to be a
Right.
DC.
But he's
He'd
interviewing.
rather stay with
Mhm.
the Cowboys
He might wind
or-
up in Arizona.
or take his head coaching position somewhere.
Yeah.
And Cabana Phoenix does confirm that is him, and he is wearing his 1580 The Fanatic shirt. Good for you, Cabana Phoenix. He's standing now in this picture. He's standing in front of a yellow Plymouth Roadrunner, one of those old ones with the big Daytona wing in the back,
Nice.
Ralph. Yeah.
Nice.
So you must be. Is that from last year's Barrett Jackson, or are you out there setting up for this year's Barrett Jackson? That's interesting, Cabana Phoenix. Let me know. 888-368-1580. All right, when we come back, more coaching, NFL coaching stuff to talk about. Again, Frank Reich hired by the Panthers. He's now employed. That's one down. Several more to go. We're waiting on it. There was another surprising hire today. We'll talk about that when we come back here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update for Arizona's new home for sports, The Fanatic. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NBA tonight, the Phoenix Suns hosting the Dallas Mavericks. Phoenix a 1.5 favorite, minus 120 on the money line. Dallas plus 102, over under 221.5. The Clippers home to take on San Antonio. Los Angeles a 13-point home favorite, minus 850. The Spurs plus 590, over under 234. The Rockets, who have lost 14 of 15, will be home to take on Cleveland. The Cavaliers, a 8.5-point road favorite, minus 360. Houston plus 290. The over-under 221.5. And the Bulls, a 6-point favorite tonight on the road against Charlotte, over-under 234. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% when you use the promo code ACTION75. Experts.winnersandwiners.com. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Hey, y'all, this is your girl, Cheryl Underwood, and I want to tell you something. My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I feel great. That's because I increased my fiber intake with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days, and it's really that easy. Metamucil traps and removes the waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge? For a coupon and daily support, sign up at Metamucil.com today.
It's time once again for the Harmon Solar 1580 The Fanatic NFL Fan Pick'em Contest. First prize is $1,580 from Harmon Solar. Second prize, a Zebra e-bike from Hemingway. And $500 third prize from Harmon Solar. Sign up today. Go to 1580thefanatic.com. The Harmon Solar 1580 The Fanatic NFL Fan Pick'em Contest. From your home for the NFL in the Valley. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Yeah, it's Daily Blender for a Thursday here on 1580 99.3 The Fanatic. Let me set you up real quick. What's happening on the big station? Tonight at 6 o'clock tip time for the GCU Fighting Antelopes They're in Texas taking on Abilene Christian. And that starts at 6 o'clock tonight. Then if a Saturday, they will be in action again in Texans at Tarleton. Did we find out what their mascot is? Is it like the Stingrays or something?
They're the Texans.
Oh, that's right. The Texans. Sorry. Tarleton Texans. Speaking of NCAA basketball, Xavier meets Creighton at 10 a.m. on Saturday here on 1580 The Fanatic. And the finale of the weekend, it's going to be NFL football championship weekend. We've got the NFC championship game beginning at noon on Saturday, followed by the AFC championship game at 4, brought to us by our friends at Westwood One. So you will hear a wall-to-wall coverage of NFL championship weekend. The only place you're going to catch that on the radio in Phoenix, right here, exclusive home to the NFL, 1580-99.3, The Fanatic. Let's go back to the text line before we get busy. Incarcerated guy wants to say I think he was agreeing with you, Keon. Wasn't Jeremy Chin on the Knicks? No, that was Jeremy.
That's Jeremy Lin.
Lin, not Chin.
Yeah,
Chin is a football player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now the text line is just refreshing. Oh my God, there it is. There it is. It's back. Take it easy, everybody. It's going to be one of those days with the text line. So everybody right now, George, take a Valium and relax. It's going to be okay. We're going to get there. Chin sanity. Yeah. Lynn sanity. Lynn sanity. NFL Blitzer says, good Thursday, gents. I still believe Panthers are in the best position to win their division. A horrible NFC South is a good fit for Coach Frank Reich. Well, that's true. It is a weaker division. And with Tampa Bay now imploding, I mean, they fired everybody on the coaching staff, basically. I heard Uncle Bruce was not very happy about that. I would have played the live audio, but it was just one long beep. All the profanity that sprung forth from his mouth. Let's see. Cabana Phoenix says, I wish it. Yeah, okay, here we go. This year I went yesterday. Big Steve and Izzy will be there on Saturday. Is that a promo for them? Is that like a public appearance?
Oh,
am I getting paid to say this?
Tell you. I have no idea.
Some sort of I get talent fees if I promote other events. So I wanted to make sure. First few days, great deals, great cars, trucks, 25,000 or less. Friday, Saturday, $1 million cars. Get there early. 8 a.m. auction starts at 10. Well, thanks, Cabana Phoenix. I will not be out there. I have to get a mattress this weekend. So, but thanks for the invite. 888-368-1580. Bill Belichick issued a statement on the hiring of Chin Nuts O'Brien. This is the audio from that.
And on those plays, that.
And there you go. Bill Belichick issuing the statement about hiring Bill O'Brien. Another hiring that happened today. The Jets hired Nathaniel Hackett.
Wow.
To be the next offensive coordinator.
That makes sense.
For the New York Jets.
I mean, he averaged 9 points a game in Denver. That's awesome.
So another one to underscore what I'm saying. If you suck in the NFL, it's okay. You'll get another job here in just a minute. What are they thinking? What are the New York Jets thinking?
I have only one thought. We're going to make a run at Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to get his favorite guy from when he was OC with the Packers.
Yeah.
And just, Aaron Rodgers shows up and it's the Hackett Rodgers show all over again. And then you add Aaron Rodgers to that defense. I think you might have something if Aaron Rodgers has anything left.
What do the Jets have offensively to lure Aaron Rodgers over there from Green Bay?
Breece Hall, a great offensive line, a fantastic defense.
You say great. You say great. And yet Mike White is still having nightmares about that one game where he was just absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't put that on the offensive line per se. It's not like
I would.
it's not like somebody just got straight up beat and then he got blown apart.
No,
It's-
the only guy that got beat in that game was Mike White. Relentlessly.
But I thought on that one play, and quarterbacks can get themselves, be like for instance, you hold it against Miami's offensive line that Tua got concussed all year. Like no, Tua ran into some plays where you're like, oh my God, why don't you put your arms down and stop your head from slamming into the turf?
Exclusive audio of Mike White from that last game.
No, I don't put that fully on the offensive line, and they were banged up too. But I think they have a great offensive line. If you go back, drop back, throw the ball when you're supposed to throw the ball, throw it on time. You don't get destroyed the way Mike White got destroyed in that game.
What's that? This just in. More audio from that game from Mike White. Here it is. There it was.
So no, I think that offensive line, when they're healthy, Mekhi Becton was out that for I think much of the year. When they're healthy, they're a great offensive line. So with the running game, you've got the receivers there. I do think that there's something to offer.
Yes, Ralph.
I just don't see Aaron Rodgers wanting to go to the Jets. I
don't see him wanting to, but I think that the Jets look at that and go, look, we've got your guy and we've got weapons for you. And they're going to make just to make a run.
Yeah, but your guy had Russell Wilson last year and was averaging 9 points a game.
Because he's a terrible head coach, but maybe he is a fine offensive coordinator.
I think Aaron Rodgers probably wants to stay away from, big media circuits. I just don't think he likes the media. And the last thing he wants to do is go to New York. I think that would.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
There is that assumption that the Green Bay Packers are going to try to work something out, maybe a trade, not with the NFC. So none of the NFC teams will get Aaron Rodgers. It'll be an AFC team only. And I see Keon's. I see what his logic here by hiring Aaron Rodgers' former guy. But what do you do when Aaron turns him down? Now you're stuck with this guy.
Yeah, and that's where I think that maybe there's a comfort level there where you go, okay, this man is one of those people. He should never be a head coach. You would never, ever hire Nathaniel Hackett to be a head coach. But maybe he's actually a decent offensive coordinator. There's players, or not players, they're coaches that are just like that. I think that we're starting to see in Tampa Bay, maybe Todd Bowles is one of those guys.
He's definitely one of those guys.
Yeah, or he's just like,
well, Todd Bowles didn't get fired. Everybody else did.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's because Todd and Bruce Arians are close. So when it comes time to play the blame game, Todd can escape for a little bit, so that's where we are on that. But I don't think Todd Bowles should be a head coach anymore. But I think that if Todd Bowles were available to be a defensive coordinator and I had an opening, I'd go get him right now.
Okay, so Nathaniel Hackett is employed. I still say it's putting the cart before the horse. Get Aaron Rodgers first. Nathaniel Hackett's not going to be hired by anybody else in the league.
But they're trying to lure him, so you can't get Rodgers first. Like
they use it as a chip. Hey, listen, you come over here, we'll get Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, but he might be like, if he's sitting there waiting around for a maybe on Aaron Rodgers, then, someone offers him a quarterback coach's job. He might just take that. So I think if you have that comfort level where it's like, okay, the guy was not competent enough to be a head coach, but he might be a fine offensive coordinator because he doesn't have to manage the clock. He doesn't have to worry about timeouts. None of that. Just design the plays.
He did turn down the special teams coordinator for his local high school. I heard that.
Well, that's good news.
That's about all he was going to get offered.
So, but yeah, I
give you a $200 a month stipend. And your kids get to go to high school free. What's that? Oh yeah, yes, it is a public high school, but still, it's one of the perks.
8-man football.
888-368-1580 is the text line. More coaching news. Yeah, you knew it was going to happen. The Cowboys axe 5 assistant coaches so far, and they did that today.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They did that today. They're keeping Mike McCarthy. However, the George Edwards, senior defensive assistant, running backs coach Skip Peete, line coach, a defensive line coach Leon Lett, line coach Joe Philbin, assistant head coach. Gee, I wonder why he's going on. Assistant head coach Rob Davis, gone.
I don't even understand why the defensive guys got fired.
Gone.
What did the defense do wrong in that game, in that playoff
And
game?
firing Leon Lett from the Cowboys would
That's
be
a
like
legend.
firing Dale Hellestray from the Cowboys.
Oh, I'd fire him.
He is Cowboys. I mean, when you think Leon Lett, he's Cowboys.
And their
Leon
D-line was
Lett.
good.
Yeah. I mean, aside from a couple of unfortunate plays,
Yeah.
Leon Lett had a fantastic Cowboys career.
And the running back
And the-
coach, I mean, they had a good year too.
Yeah. The
Well-
offensive line coach, Joe Philbin. Philbin's a really good line coach. I like the offensive line. Was that really the problem with the Cowboys?
Hello, Cardinals. Are you hearing this right now?
Yeah. I mean, look, if you
Hello, Cardinals.
you go get Joe Philbin right away. That guy knows what he's doing when he's talking offensive line.
So the Cowboys fire everybody but Mike McCarthy. I think even the towel boy, the locker room attendants, they all got axed today in Dallas. Jerry has got to fire someone just to take his frustration out. Idiot.
But
What's
not,
that? You're an administrative assistant. You're fired. Wow.
But not the guy that decided to line up Zeke Elliott at center. Not that guy. That guy gets to go off scot-free.
All right. So
Jesus.
Stupid.
what took so long? What took so long for this to happen? Do you think that Jerry needed to take a nap? Why are we waiting so long after the meltdown from last weekend for Jerry to make these moves?
I mean, it's because
It's got to be Jerry, right? It's not Mike McCarthy. I mean, Mike's too busy eating his postseason spread. Still, he's probably like waist deep in chips and salsa.
Maybe they were fighting about it. I mean, maybe he went to Coach McCarthy and said, look, it's you or somebody, but someone's got to go. And he said, I want your whole damn staff to go. And maybe he fought him for a couple of days. And then finally he said, okay, then you're going. He said, no, let's just fire the guys. That's fine. Maybe that, I don't know. I mean,
that's
I think
pretty
it's stupid.
That's the only way that really can go down is you start playing the blame game. When you lose a game in that fashion, heads have to roll. But who? And you would think the head coach, but if you like the head coach, and Jerry has gone out and said so many things publicly about how he likes Mike McCarthy, I think he'd be embarrassed to go back on it now. Well, then you got to blame other people. I don't know why you would blame your defensive line coach. I thought they did a good job this year. Your defensive, your offensive line coach. I thought he did a great job. I thought your running backs coach. What more could he have done?
Yeah, he did great.
I just don't know why those guys are the ones getting the axe, except heads have to roll.
Well, it's happening in Dallas. Sweeping changes are coming to the sideline in Dallas. Let's go to the text line real quick. CK says, good afternoon, fellas. Just tuned in. What's this chin talk? It's Grandma Bruce. Get it right. Suck it, Ralph.
Took 37 minutes.
It's Grandma Bruce.
You said Uncle Bruce, and he insists that it's Grandma Bruce.
Oh, Bruce Arians is what I was talking about, not Bruce Jacobs. And he's not Grandma Bruce either. I mean, come on. What a great guy. Pinocchio says, thank the Lord Dan Quinn didn't bring his snake oil to the Cardinals. 28-3. Enough said. Well, that is true. And there was a trending story, although I haven't confirmed it, that he's not going to be seeking a head coaching position. Dan Quinn, I'm talking about. But I haven't confirmed it, so it's not officially news. Mr. Pringle says, I think all that promo code should be changed to Lakers suck.
All right. Get on the YouTuber and look at my what's behind me. That's all I got to say.
Oh, you've changed offices.
You'll see a lot of Lakers.
How many offices do you have, Ralph?
Too many.
Because the one yesterday, you had Seattle stuff in it. Now you got Lakers stuff.
I'm flaunting my Magic Johnson signed ball and his signed jersey, and
that's pretty damn cool.
Did you say you're flaunting your what?
My Magic Johnson.
You're flaunting your Magic Johnson.
Oh, no.
Hello.
And it's signed with a Sharpie.
Your Magic Johnson is signed
With a Sharpie.
Oddly enough, by Magic Johnson.
Holy
That explains
cow.
everything, damn it.
Wow. Wow. All right. 888-368-1580. That is the text line. We have to recover. Let's take a break. On the other side, more NFL coaching stuff. We'll be right back. It's Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Right now, you can get free carpet installation from the Home Depot. So while we're putting in your new carpet, you'll have more time to take care of the lawn. Get started on dinner. Or just lay down and relax on your new carpet after it's installed. Get your free carpet installation started with the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Minimum purchase of $4.99. Exclusions apply. U.S. only. See store for details.
One trip down Scottsdale Road, and it's obvious. Snowbird season is here. You know what else is on Scottsdale Road? The absolute best restaurant to take your out-of-town friends and family to. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. No one does it better than Kasai, where talented teppanyaki chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is dinnertainment at its best, where a delicious 7-course meal prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for any occasion. Choose from over 50 different items and combinations of teppanyaki. Looking for great dining without a show? Well, Kasai offers an awesome selection of Asian-inspired dishes and tasty sushi. Happy hour deals daily till 6 p.m. and enjoy the outdoor dining on the heated patio. So whether you're here for the open, the big game, or just the great Arizona sunshine, don't just take your guests to dinner. Take them to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse for dinnertainment. Visit KasaiScottsdale.com. That's KASAI Scottsdale.com. Or call 480-607-1114.
Horn penetrates, drives, lobs it down low to Washington, who slams it in. Warren Washington with the flush. Sun Devil men's basketball returns to Desert Financial Arena to celebrate the program's alumni weekend. The action begins with Oregon State on Thursday, February 2nd, and continues with the Oregon Ducks on Saturday, February 4th. Get your tickets today by calling 480-965-5812 or go online to sundeviltickets.com. Sun Devil men's basketball, onward to victory.
My king, you're up early.
Awake, Merlin. I've had a dream that needs interpretation.
Sorry, he turned into an owl and flew the coop 4 days ago.
Good sorcerers, seers, and mystics are hard to come by anymore. And given the inevitable uncertainties of life, insuring against calamity is always the smarter play. From benefits and workers' comp to home, business, and group health insurance, Cole Hayes Insurance will secure your future. For a free quote, visit mycommercialinsurance.com.
1580 The Fanatic.
Coming up on the big show, we're going to be breaking down some of the AFC championship game. That's coming up in hour number 2. Also, we're going to take a look at the two quarterbacks in the NFC championship game, Brock Purdy versus Jalen Hurts. And what happened the last time they got together? It was like 5,000 points scored and over 1 million yards. I know it was incredible, but it happened. Let's go to the text line quickly. Silly Wabbit, knock it off. That's not what happened in sports talk radio. Bruce Jacobs is quality. Will you guys leave it alone with Bruce Jacobs? Come on. Good Cat says, not going to lie, as a lifelong Cowboy watcher or hater, watching Zeke get crushed on that last play made me chuckle, and it's still funny today. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell the play was. But Roast Beef got up there and was like, well, we didn't really, are you going to eat that?
Well, the part that scared me was that he said they practiced it a few times this year.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just the CBA is where you have limited practices in the NFL these days. You don't have
and you wasted time on that play.
Yeah, I mean the finite practices you have over the course of an NFL season.
It must have been during one of the OTAs. Had to be one of the OTAs.
I mean, even then, that's silly. I mean, even during the OTAs, you would like to practice plays you'll actually run.
I could see McCarthy out there, in his sweat jacket and those bike shorts that all the coaches used to wear, and his Cowboys, baseball cap. All right, guys, line up on the 30. We're going to practice a gadget play today. I just had 12 sandwiches, so everybody stand back. This came to me in a food coma. We're going to put Zeke at center. And from there, I mean, he must have blacked out.
Over the last 15 years, every team in the NFC East has tried a version of that play. It's been a disaster every single time. And that is the worst version of a team in the NFC East running that play. I don't understand why they have to try this. It seems like contractual or something. It's just, it makes no sense.
Hefty Lefty on the text line says, did they keep Kellen Moore? Yeah.
Which is like, of all the people.
For now.
I thought Kellen Moore's play calling at times this season was just awful. It was just awful. He's the guy that gets to stay.
The Big Risk wants to know what's with all the Suns fans hating on the Lakers. Where or when did it start and why? And do Laker fans feel the same way about the Suns? Is it about the city of LA? Do Sun fans hate the Clippers too? No, the Sun fans, I can speak as a Suns fan. And then, Ralph, you can, of course, retort as you normally do.
Sure.
But as a Suns fan, the hatred has gone back many years toward the Lakers. It is, everybody beat LA, beat LA. It's the same with Diamondbacks and Dodgers. Beat LA. We're all about that. See, Suns fans have trumped up in their heads that there's some sort of rivalry between us and LA. Now, if you look on the LA side of it, I don't even know if LA knows we exist. So I think LA thinks that Phoenix is just a suburb of East LA. As God is my witness, I feel that I don't think there's anybody in Los Angeles, a Laker fan or a Dodger fan, that even realize that there's this hatred coming from Arizona towards LA. Okay, now, Ralph, your turn, please.
So as a Laker fan, first of all, you're right. I mean, when I lived in LA and I grew up in LA and I spent 30 years of my life there, when I thought of Phoenix, I thought of some little hole in the desert. It was nothing significant. Obviously, it's more than that, but that's what you think about it when you live there. And we don't think about the Suns. They're irrelevant to us. The only team that we really hate is the Boston Celtics. That team and that city, their fans, we can't stand. But when it comes to Phoenix, we have nothing against Phoenix. I mean, I get why they don't like us. People don't like championship organizations. That's why people hate LA. No, but that's true. LA is a city of champions, and people hate that because they want that too. I get it. You want what we have, but you can't have it. So that's all I have to say about that.
All right. Thank you, Ralph. Okay, Kiss to Cook has this to say. Enough with the short jokes, Ralph. Wait, why is he here? How many times do you have to flush before that fudgy Lakers goes away?
Better get a bigger bowl.
Kiss to Cook. Just getting nasty with it. Good Cat says, Keon, what's worse, that the Cowboys messed up the play on that weird fourth down play, or the play against the Colts did against the Patriots? Sorry, I blew that. I mean, the text is cut in half, so I'm trying to put words together on the fly here.
Absolutely, and the Colts ran a version of that play too. I think the Cowboys one is worse because the Colts were just trying to catch him off guard and see if they could get them to have some kind of penalty. The fact that the ball was snapped was actually a complete accident. They never intended to run the play. The Cowboys planned on running that and practiced it. That has to be about 15 million times worse. The Colts was just an accident. Pat McAfee was out there and he said later they never intended to snap the ball, but then the center snapped it and he was like, "Oh boy, I think I'm screwed." That's a different situation entirely.
Yeah, but in this case, the center was Zeke, and I think he snapped it, and he wasn't supposed to either.
The center wasn't actually a center; it was your
Zeke,
incredibly high-paid player, and you got him absolutely dump trucked on the final play of the season.
And that could be his final play of his Dallas career.
Could be, yeah.
What a way to end it.
I would leave after that.
Yeah.
Like, you guys don't care about me, and that play is proof.
Baby Got Dak on the text line says, "Hi guys, this is a fine day for Cowboys fans as Dan Quinn is staying put in Dallas. Woo and who? See, there it is. I said there was something trending. I have not confirmed it, but now Baby Got Dak is lending more fuel to the fire. Dan Quinn is backing out his head coaching search. Okay.
That's surprising.
So Keon Rose manipulating the keyboard as we speak to try to find out and confirm this story.
Yeah, as of an hour ago, reported by the NFL media group, Nick Shook. He's the guy reporting it.
Nick Shook. Yeah, he's one of the biggies over there. Nice guy. Yeah.
So the basically they're going to go ahead and keep Dan Quinn, which I think is fantastic news because one of the functioning parts of that football team was the defense.
Let's see. We have awakened the Laker and Dodger faithful, Mr. Pringle. As always, Ralph, the truth bomb is spot on. Mr. Pringle.
That's it. Amen.
Taco Kinney. As a Laker Dodger fan, my hate is for the Celtics and Giants. Estoro. Suns fans are just good in being second best. Cardinal Art. Uh-oh, Ralph, better watch out. Ralph, for one, you're from the Valley of California, not LA. I'm from Los Angeles, California, 90001. Stop it with your shenanigans, but go Lakers. Pour me pour me up one, Randy, of your finest whiskey and cold brew.
First of all, 90001. You're talking to 91606 or the 818. And we have a little rivalry between the 818 and where he's from. So I get where he's coming from. But there's no there's no shenanigans here. It's just reality. That's what we think in LA. So.
All right. Cardinal Art.
And his name's Cardinal Art?
Cardinal Art. Because he's a Cardinal fan. He has seen the true light. And
you're from LA and you're a Cardinal fan. So that just basically you're excommunicated from any conversation regarding us in LA. So you're not allowed to even speak about LA anymore.
Aiden's Army says Suns and Clippers rivalry is more of an established rivalry than the Suns and Lakers. But Aiden's true. Army, I can remember through the 80s where the whole beat LA, the placards came out, they were purple. There was playoff implications. The crowds were ravenous.
But everyone does that against LA. That's not a Suns LA thing.
Well, no, but I'm just saying it's a Suns thing that I've grown to know about here. And but there's no more of a rivalry between the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, you could probably ask the team. They would probably tell you. They would probably, after they stopped laughing, they'd probably tell you. 888-368-1580. So I said we were going to talk a little more coaching talk. This isn't actually NFL coaching talk. It came out today. ESPN, the four-letter network, uncovered another gripping story of things that are happening, and we are the investigative arm of the media now. Dateline, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. LSU accidentally, quote unquote, overpaid Tigers football coach Brian Kelly by $1 million during his first year of a 10-year, $100 million contract. But then they discovered the error and has moved to correct it, according to the Louisiana Legislative Auditor's Office earlier yesterday.
Did he plan on telling them ever?
Probably not.
Yeah, it's just like
so he got 11 million instead of 10.
So here comes Brian Kelly. He comes to Baton Rouge. He gets this fake accent. Then he creeps out some incoming freshman with his creepy dance on his social media. LSU social media. And now the guy gets overpaid by $1 million and doesn't even say a word about it.
They sent
Not
money
one word
to him and to his LLC by mistake.
And they took the Louisiana Legislative Auditor's Office to out the problem here. And then I'm sure Brian Kelly's like, well, I'm sorry. I didn't even notice that. I apologize. Here, let me write you a check.
I mean, he's got to be careful with stuff like that. When you're the head coach of not just LSU, but a lot of these state schools, you are a public employee. Okay. Sometimes, and in the case of Brian Kelly, definitely, you are the highest paid public official in the state. So double dipping, that's not going to work.
Oh, that I didn't notice that. I'm sorry. Let me scratch out a check for you. Can you believe that?
And I don't even think he's giving them back the money. I think they're adjusting his payments for next season so that it'll be even by the time the end of next season's done.
Well, why don't we just
he could give it back.
Why don't we just minus $1 million off of my paycheck next year? I mean, we'll just call it all good and everything, right? I mean, here, have some crawfish. I just boiled these up. Really?
I don't know about that one. That's a serious integrity issue.
And if you're LSU, you football guys, you're loving it, aren't you? Because it's the SEC, and you're like,
there is a contingent of people in LSU that are like, wow, that's not even the dirtiest thing our school's done in the last 5 years. I mean, we have to fire our basketball coach
compared to some of the other things. He's got Kelly's got a halo around his head. First of all, how do you misplace $1 million if you're a public education institution like LSU? How do you misplace $1 million? Really? I mean, the numbers are large and everything. I could probably see, $10,000 maybe in error when you're talking about paying the guy $10 million a year. But $1 million?
I mean, how often do they pay them? Is it bi-weekly? Is it weekly? I mean, is it a point where maybe you wouldn't notice it unless you brought your calculator out? I mean, I don't know.
Is somebody that's printing up these checks, or are they LSU alumni? I mean, what's happening here? Was the math just bad? Was my pencil not quite sharp enough? How do you ascertain how this happened? I mean, how do you come up with, I overpaid Brian Kelly by $1 million. $1 million. Well, I'll tell you what, I think he should give it back to the university. University should go, you know what? We're going to fund some other people that want to go to this university. Here's $1 million for these people. We're going to send them to college for free. Because we're idiots. We're just going to go ahead and do that. We're going to educate some people. Here's $1 million. That's what I think. Anyway, enough of my ranting. Let's move on to more fun things. That's hour 1 of the Daily Blender in the books. Hour 2 right around the corner. We'll look at some news today about the Suns' future. Are they looking past CP3? It's Daily Blender on 1580 The Fanatic.
You date like you aren't 22 anymore. Like, emotionally mature is kind of hot to you now. And 6 texts sent back to back is totally cool. You date like your experiences, relationships, they haven't just made you, they made you interesting. Young love was great, but dating as a fully formed, emotionally mature human, man, that's on a whole other level. Download the Match app today.
This is Aaron Warby, host of the Bulls and the Bears radio show, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. I am here today to make the statement that just because we're in a bear market does not mean that you have to be losing money. Just like Michael Burry and Warren Buffett, bear markets should be where real generational wealth is created, but most will follow the same broken strategy that lost them in the last bear market. We are inviting you to come to an intensive 3-day trading and investing class where we will show you the trading and investing strategies of the market wizards. This class is typically $299, but right now, for 66% off, you can join us in this class. Just call 8448-TRADER. That's 8448-87-2337 and tell the operator you want the $99 3-day class, or text $99 to 25029. That's $99 to 25029.
Streaming only on Peacock. From the mind of Ryan Johnson, the writer-director of Knives Out.
Miss Kale, you've got this gift, always knowing the truth.
I only know if something is a lie. The real trick of it is to figure out why.
Natasha Lyonne is Charlie Kale.
It wasn't an accident. I think there's been a murder. You watch too much Dateline.
A new 10-part mystery series.
Wolves on my fender. I gotta keep moving. I've been kind of a death magnet.
Poker Face, streaming January 26th, only on Peacock.
As a kids, we all loved hopping on our bikes and hitting the road.
I'll be back for dinner. See ya.
Well, bikes just got reinvented for us big kids. If you haven't tried an electric bike, you have no idea what you're missing. Hit the road, the trails, or the beach by pedaling or not pedaling.
It's like being a kid all over again.
Start with the best. Hemingway e-bikes are the best fat tire electric bikes sold. Since 2017, Hemingway is known for durability, price, safety, and fun. Hemingway is the long-range e-bike experts, taking you faster and farther on a single charge. Hemingway sells direct to the consumer, ships right to your home, and has over 2,000 5-star reviews. Choose from 7 models, all with an unprecedented 2-year warranty. Find out why over 50,000 customers call Hemingway the best e-bike there is. Go to HemingwayEbike.com. That's HIMIWAY ebike.com. Now save up to $250 with promo code FANATIC. Go to HemingwayEbike.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM. And K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what? Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Buddy, to hour number 2 on a Thursday of the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic. And that right over there, the sexiest man in sports talk radio, Peon Rose. There's Ralph. Look at my Magic Johnson. Romano from Harmon Solar has joined us on the broadcast. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien on assignment. You are texting in on 888-368-1580. That's the text line for the fourth dimension. We love having you around. This hour, we've got lots to talk about. I'm going to break down maybe the NFC title game as far as looking at the quarterbacks, give you some NFL championship game. You get your fix going here. Also, Vince Wilfork, I've been trying to get to this, former Patriots. He's got something to say to young players. And who says golf isn't dangerous? It's coming up this hour here on the Daily Blender. But first, we'll start with this. Last night, Golden State at home taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. And it was a tight game. And with a minute 14 remaining in the fourth quarter, Steph Curry decided he was going to throw his mouthpiece. It was after a frustrating play. It was a tight game. And so the referees, they said, snap, you're gone. You don't throw your equipment. Get out of here. See you later. Sent Steph to the showers. I mean, and this game was not out of it. I mean, it was still a tight game. Memphis was still in it. It was still going on. Third time Steph Curry has been tossed from an NBA game. All 3 of them involve his mouthpiece.
I think the first time he hit somebody with it too, just like a random fan.
Well, this time I saw it. He was running down the court after a play, and he threw it. And he threw it into the corner, but he could have hit somebody again. It's not like it's a spherical object. I mean, it could have caught some air and gone right up into the crowd.
Yeah, it's like a little boomerang.
So the Golden State had to keep grinding it out. They ended up winning on a last-second layup by Jordan Poole. After the game, Jordan Poole's coming down the tunnel there after the game. He throws his mouthpiece, kind of messing around with Steph Curry, who was waiting for him, and it was all good. Steph still put up 43 points last night, 10 of 19 shooting from the field, 4 of 10 from the three-point line, hit 10 of his 11 free throws. I mean, what a way to leave your team in a lurch in a game like, I know it's a regular season game, but Golden State can't afford a whole lot of losses, man. They've lost enough this year. And as the reigning champs trying to defend that title, that's not going to be good. I think, what does Steph Curry have to be angry about? I mean, he's usually pretty even keel.
Usually, it's for him. I've noticed it's almost always whenever there's just a bad call against him, and he
But
gets
there was
really
no call
frustrated.
on the play. It was just a clean play, and then he turned around and was running back down the court. The play hadn't stopped. Nobody had called anything on him.
Yeah, I just think that's how he vents frustration, and I think because he thought he didn't hit anybody, he wasn't going to get tossed. But obviously, you run the risk of hitting somebody. So that's what they're ejecting you for, is don't make this kind of thing a habit. He's not somebody that gets in the face of referees. He doesn't start stuff with other players. So yeah, was it a poor decision on his part? Absolutely. But I'll live with that rather than, some of the stuff Draymond Green does to get himself ejected.
Well, I mean, but it was quick. It was like bang, bang. He threw the thing, referee whistled and tossed him. It wasn't even a technical foul. It was like, you're gone, just automatically gone. And yet we see other guys out there doing things. You mentioned Draymond Green. I mean, how many times has he put a flagrant out there, and you got to go through two flagrants to get tossed, or two technicals to get tossed out of the game?
Or he'll get up in referees' faces, like in a really demonstrable way where, the refs would toss a lot of other people, but they kind of give Draymond Green that wide berth. I guess because he does it so often, it would be impossible to keep him in basketball games if you ejected him every single time he did it.
I guess my point is, why so fast on Steph Curry, so lenient on everything else? It seems like I mean, if a player is belligerent in your, I mean, I've read lips. I hear what I can see what these guys are saying to referees. It's not wholesome. It's not a wholesome talk. I got to tell you, when I was an umpire and guys would start using the foul mouth on me, I'd give them one warning. Hey, we're going to talk. You can talk to me, but don't start with the language. You get the language, I'm walking away, and you're walking away too, to the showers, Jack. But I mean, my point is, why so quick on? He threw his mouthpiece, and
I just, and it depends on the official too. I don't think that that's the standard operating procedure. I think that was that particular official. And that's how he saw fit to handle that. That if he sees somebody throwing equipment out there on the court, off you go. And there's no conversation. I also think the referees in the NBA are actually some of the worst when it comes to having conversations with guys.
Well, I mean, so Ralph, I mean, what do you think? You're a basketball fan. Well, you're a Laker fan. But anyway, I mean, do you see what I'm trying to say? I'm communicating this all wrong, but I mean, it seemed pretty petty that Steph Curry, who's not really a hothead, he doesn't get up in referees' faces. He doesn't yell and scream and throw fits. He doesn't, banter back and forth with the crowd. He's pretty even keel. Throws his mouthpiece, he gets gone. But Draymond Green, he'll kick and push and gouge and fight and he's got to get two technicals before he gets tossed out. What's the problem here? What's the issue here?
I'm with Kean. I think this is just the referee and the preference and how they handle these things.
Wow.
Some guys, I mean, you're right. I mean, there's guys that get away with a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of the referees try to just be patient and let them have their little fits and do what they're going to do until they cross a line. And this guy maybe just has a quick trigger, and he just wasn't going to have it, and he just let him go and doesn't care. I mean, that's the only thing that would make sense. Other than that he had something against Steph, but I doubt that's the case. So,
I mean, who has anything against Steph Curry?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people do.
I mean, a lot of people think he has wings and a little harp, and he's an angel.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think he seems like a really good guy. He's a great player, but this guy just had a quick trigger finger for whatever reason. Who knows?
I mean, listen to Steph at the end of the game, and I'm not oohing and awing over Steph. I just want to know what the hell's going on here. I mean, be consistent, man.
Yeah.
Here's a quote from Steph Curry after the game. It was a crucial time in the game, and the way that our season has gone, questions about a heightened sense of urgency. When you want something really bad, I reacted in a way that put myself out of the game and put our team in a tough place. Yeah. I mean, to get tossed for throwing your mouthpiece and not even a there wasn't even a technical. It was just like, bam, you're gone.
He didn't say anything, huh?
No. What he said after the game, he said, "I just threw my mouthpiece." He went to the official and but I only threw my mouthpiece. He didn't say anything. You can see it on the replays too.
And I think the referee that tossed him was Sean Wright, and he's not known for being a bad official. So I just have to think that was just that night. He just pulled the trigger too fast. Because there are officials in the NBA. For instance, Tony Brothers. I cannot stand Tony Brothers. And there's always, whenever he referees, some shenanigans that are going to happen. When I see my team and Tony Brothers is on the officiating crew, like, it's just swear words leave my mouth, because it's just, you know, someone, either the other team or your team's getting hosed, and you have no idea which way he's going to go.
Kind of like Angel Hernandez.
A little bit. I think Tony Brothers is an awful referee, but Sean Wright's not a guy that's known for being a bad one. So I want to give him the benefit of the doubt of, in that moment, he just thought maybe that was inappropriate. He just pulled the trigger on it and didn't want to have any conversation about it.
I got to tell you, I think officials take too much grief. I know these are professional athletes and everything. We're all men and that sort of thing. Well, now you got a lot of female, officials as well.
Did anyone interview the official at all? Do we get his side?
I didn't see anything in the article I was reading, but it stunned me that they were so fast. I mean, good night, 11. We just saw a game where Patrick Beverly was going after, Dame, and nothing happened there. And Steph Curry tosses he threw it in a fit of anger. He threw it, but he threw it kind of down into the corner, and he gets tossed like that.
I think you have to chalk it up to maybe the guy's just having a bad day. I mean, I know at Harmon Solar, if I'm having a bad day and somebody does something that might not, deserve something bad from me, I might go off on him because I'm having a bad day. But we all do that, right? I mean, so he's human. He might have just had a bad day. Maybe his girlfriend broke up with him. Who knows?
Wow.
Now, if he does it again, that's a different story.
Now you got a history.
Yeah. And he doesn't have that history so far as I know. I mean, it's not like I've watched every game he's officiated, but from what I understand, and there are websites out there that'll rate referees in the NBA. He's one of the more respected ones.
Pinocchio said Steph hurling his body fluid laced projectile is a biohazard. Really? Have you seen these guys spit?
Yeah.
These guys and how they're sweating and stuff. Come on, Pinocchio.
If you're sitting courtside, like, that's just part of.
Yeah, you're taking a shot.
Lost Toby says the guy had Grizzlies in his parlay. That's why he did it. That's the third time he's been ejected for mouthpiece related reasons. The NBA has a rule: if you throw anything into the crowd in the crowd's direction, it's an automatic ejection. Wow, I did not know that. The Fighting Wampa says if you throw your mouthpiece, automatic ejection in the NBA rule book. Okay, thank you. Baker's Cocky Hen says Steph could be spreading COVID with those throws. Green making you money if you're betting his rebounds and assists. What?
Kind of not what we were talking about, but that's true. So there's that, I guess.
For some reason, Mr. Wilbur says, when the bruising subsides from Jeffrey's facelift, will we still recognize him? No, he's on assignment. Going back to last hour, 1st and 15 says, government employees are professionals at mishandling money.
Yeah, good point.
No, they handle it just fine. Mr. Pringle says, sounds like the person doing the accounting at LSU graduated from LSU. That was my point. That was my point exactly. Yeah, very good. Thanks for staying clued in there. CK Randy, pour me a beer. Yes, Ralph, you're right. Arizona's just a pit stop in the desert. So Californians can all go back to California now. Here's your beer. Not sure what that means. Ralph, you've been out here a long time, right?
I didn't say it was a pit stop. I just said that we don't really think about Phoenix.
Rob Diz says, I lived in 805 off and on for 15 years, and anything LA is garbage. Wow. All right. Well, Ralph no longer lives in LA. He's just rooting for his teams that he grew up rooting for. 888-368 1580. It is, Lost Toby says, rumor confirmed Jeffrey is interviewing for the Colts head coach job. No. No.
You might get it.
No, that's not what's happening. CK, Jeffrey is not on assignment. I never took you for a liar. I'm not lying. He's on assignment. I mean, I don't know how you can confirm he's not on assignment.
I mean, somehow the texters know better than we do where Jeffrey actually is, even though nobody's producing any evidence that Jeffrey's not on assignment. They just know.
Now they're just reverting to calling me a liar now,
which I take offense to.
Wow.
Yeah. He called me and told me he was going to be on assignment, and that's when I could come in. So I can confirm that he's on assignment.
I mean, look, Ralph is a busy man. He doesn't have time just to lay down his work and come play on the radio with Keon and I. I mean, this was planned out.
Yep.
Wow. Cardinal Art, Randy and Keon, Steve Javi used to chap my hide with his calls. I have a double shot of your finest whiskey and a weather forecast report, please, Randy.
I mean, yeah, Steve Javi was terrible back in the day. They used to call him Steve Jobby because they're like, oh yeah, he's jobbing these games. You know, I mean, he's there's always seems to be some questionable call near the end of games, especially. And he'd have beef with players in the league. I don't remember. I think it might have been Joey Crawford. Joey Crawford was another one too, where it was just, he would go on power trips with players and you just go, why are you like this, man? I remember he tossed Tim Duncan from a game one time because Tim Duncan was on the bench laughing. He didn't even say anything to him. Just tossed him.
Here's your weather report from the 1580 The Fanatic Weather Center. Chief Meteorologist Randy White reporting 63 and sunny conditions currently outside. Going for a low tonight around 39, 62 tomorrow, mid-60s through the weekend. Then on Monday, a cooling trend comes to the valley with a 50% chance of rain showers. Remember, if you live in the outer parts of the valley, cover your succulents. From the Harman Solar 1580 The Fanatic Weather Center Chief Meteorologist, back to you guys in the studio. Kind of awkward when I'm hosting the show, too. Scratch Me Because says, does on assignment translate in rehab? No, he's on assignment.
It's not the name of the center.
All right, let's keep moving. So Steph gets tossed last night for throwing his mouthpiece, but other guys get away with murder and mayhem. I saw an article on CBSSports.com that was very interesting. We'll get started talking about this, but Ralph, you brought it up yesterday on this very radio program. That's why I thought this was appropriate. Are the Phoenix Suns looking to replace CP3? Chris Paul led the Phoenix Suns to a win and two wins within 2 wins of the NBA championship in 2021, but he's been injured since. And it looks like an embarrassing second round Game 7 home loss at the hands of the Mavericks last season. Now the team hovering around 500. Paul now 37 years old. Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, and DeAndre Ayton all between the ages of 24 and 26. Are the Suns looking forward to a post CP3 future? And as much, are they eyeing point guard Fred VanVleet, Emmanuel Quickley, Terry Rozier at the trade deadline? Go ahead, mix it up. Tell me what you think.
I think that article says everything that we said yesterday. Keon talked about those same guys. I mean, about looking at them. And I think CP3, maybe it's time to use him to try to get one of those players because CP3 is on his way out. I mean, was he 38 years old, you said?
Yeah, it's 37 now.
37 years old. I mean, that's old for an NBA player. I don't know. I mean, what value would he really have was Keon's point yesterday. And I kind of agree with that. I'm not sure what his value is, but
I think CP3 probably will stay here in Phoenix. I think that the Suns will make some sort of a move, perhaps with Jay Crowder, maybe to bring the one of these guys in. Excuse me.
I think you should keep him. But
Jay Crowder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I agree, but
they haven't used him, and he's sitting on the bench.
Used him, but they need to. I would keep him. I think your solution is sitting on your bench.
See, I don't understand all the inner workings, and I don't know why he hasn't played. I know there's been some sort of disagreement between the principle of the thing, between Jay Crowder and the Phoenix Suns, but it's been awfully quiet. Tell you what, we'll break it down even more when we come back from this break. It's the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
If you are 65 or older, you know this. Watching your hard-earned dollars fly out the window on healthcare costs is so frustrating. But here's some great news. If you missed the December 7th deadline for open enrollment, it's not too late. Here's something that can really help. It's Medi-Share 65 Plus. Medi-Share is a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills. People who encourage and pray for each other too. Medi-Share 65 Plus is a low-cost option for those with Medicare Parts A and B, and it fills in the gaps where Medicare stops. It's a great way to fight inflation too. You can lock in one low monthly price for up to 10 years. Plus, it's easy. You can use any Medicare-approved doctor or get 24/7 telehealth access from the comfort of your home. So worth looking into. Medi-Share 65 Plus is open for enrollment. And if you join right now before January 31st, your second month will be free. So don't miss this chance. Call 844-SHARE-65. That's 844-SHARE-65. 844-SHARE-65.
There's no doubt that Harman Solar can save you up to 85% on your monthly electric bill. That's a fact. Bruce Jacobs here. But did you know it's possible to get solar for zero down and no payments for 12 months? You can lease, finance, or even purchase outright. They have plans that fit everybody. Harman Solar is a family-owned, women-owned local company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harman Solar at 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189, or go to harmansolar.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Remember last year when you wanted to hear that NFL matchup, but you couldn't because you were at your nephew's birthday party and the Fanatic couldn't stream the NFL on their app? Didn't that suck? Well, those days are over, pal. Now you can listen live to every primetime NFL game on the Fanatic app. Download the app now at the Google Play Store or the App Store, or at 1580thefanatic.com.
It's a Thursday edition of the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3. The Fanatic is Keon Rose, Ralph from Harman Solar, and Randy White rolling till 6 o'clock tonight. Jeffrey O'Brien is on assignment. You are on the text line at 888-368-1580. We're talking about maybe the future of the Suns. Some sort of a look at something that should happen before the trade deadline or at the trade deadline. For this Phoenix Suns team. Phoenix in a fairly good position from a trade standpoint, guys. Still have all of our first round picks. They will be able to maybe turn over Jay Crowder into something of value. CP3's deal is only partially guaranteed beyond this season. So it's not like he's going to be making tons of money next season. So I don't know. Maybe they move. I'd hate to see that though. Maybe they move CP3 and some trades or some picks to pick up one of these guys or somebody that we haven't even thought about yet.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to the idea, but I just don't think you can move CP3. Right now, his base salary is $28.4 million. And I don't think he's at the point in his career where he's going to be able to make it through a season healthy. And he's got 2 more years left on the deal where the base salary goes up from 28.4 mil to 30 mil a year. I don't know who's trading for that at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you get back for a guy that will be 38 before this season is over, will be 39, making $30 million next year, will be 40, making $30 million the year after that. Like, that's just not responsible for another team to do. The Suns obviously swung on the fact that he was going to give them a chance to win a championship early in the deal. And that almost did happen. But now that they're later on in the deal, I think he's going to be very hard to move. That's okay, because he can still give you value in the locker room. He can still give you value as a leader. And if you bring in a younger point guard, he's going to give you value as a mentor too, in addition to what he's able to give you when he's healthy.
So the Suns are at the they're at the luxury tax, correct? Is that right?
I believe so. But
And I think any team that wants to be any sort of a contender, you have to be at or above the luxury tax and paying that penalty. Would you guys agree or disagree with that?
I think you have to be close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like teams don't really like to go over the luxury tax, but there's no way you can be really competitive. And I do think that when you have star players, when you have your core of your team, then putting the other pieces around that core means that sometimes, you're going to go over the luxury tax in order to compete. That's just how the game works at this point.
I've always viewed basketball as a spend to win sport. I mean, it's the one sport where you spend to win.
Yeah.
In other sports, I think you don't have to do that. So, but
what other sports is that?
Because I mean, in baseball,
tell
you
me,
definitely
Los Angeles Dodger fan.
Oh no, but you can see there's football teams, there's baseball teams that don't spend the money that win and have great seasons. In the NBA, I don't see that. I mean, you spend money or you don't have a good year.
I agree with you. So the Suns seem to be in a precarious situation, at least this season. Yeah. I mean, maybe in the offseason they could move CP3, or like you said, Keon, you keep him around and you bring in somebody. But I mean, isn't somebody like a Fred VanVleet going to command a quality contract or a max contract? Or what about Terry Rozier? Is he eligible for a max or super max contract?
I mean, Terry Rozier is not going to command a max. He's going to cost a bit, but I mean, he's not going to command a max contract. Fred VanVleet might, but I mean, this would be the time to move on what he is this year, just because he's actually having a down year statistically. So this is his weakest argument for, making max kind of money. But I think that, he's already getting paid a decent amount from Toronto. You're just taking on that contract. You're not, you wouldn't have to figure out how to pay him right away if you were to make that move. I think the same thing for Rozier. Are they making a nice chunk of change, both of them? Yeah, but those aren't max level guys. Those are solid quality players who are around their prime right now, who can help you.
So if you make a trade right now, or you make a move right now and you pick up one of those three guys, let's say, theoretically, you pick up one of those three guys. Let's say it's VanVleet. He's locked in on his contract for right now. When is he due a new contract?
Yeah, he's up at the end of this year. He'll be an unrestricted free agent, but here's the thing: he's 22 mil right now and kind of underachieving. So if he shows up and he plays well, I mean, in the end, he's going to probably get back to his career average. You're not going to be paying him what you're paying CP3.
888-368-1580. The text line is humming along here. Baker's cocky hen says Rozier is better than VanVleet. VanVleet too streaky and he isn't good on defense. Booker can play point with Rozier at the 2.
I mean, I don't think VanVleet is a bad defender. He is streaky, and I do think that one of the things that the Suns really need is a guy who can get to the basket. On this team right now, of all the guards that they have that really get to the basket a bunch, it's Devin Booker, and that's kind of the end of the list. So you go get a Rozier. Rozier's at least going to give you a guy that can get to the basket. He is an improved 3-point shooter. He used to suck at it, but he's pretty good now. And again, he's going to be under contract for a couple more years after this year. And we're talking 24, 25 mil a year for the next couple of years. So again, if you're starting to move in a direction beyond CP3, he's going to be cheaper.
Lost Toby. That's a horrible Photoshop job you've done there. First of all, the stock photo you used has got the watermark on it. Second of all, Jeffrey's face totally is out of scale for the body that you use. That is not any proof that he's laying low in Mexico. I'm sorry, sir. Your evidence has been declined. CK says Suns definitely have a window after CP3. Book, Bridges, Cam Johnson, and DA are potent core. Yeah, but they need that piece.
I have a question. So
yes,
going into this year, I think all you guys felt good about where the Suns were and with their talent, and they had just come off, they lost in the second round last year, but I mean, you felt good about it. I know you guys talked a lot about it. So I get that they've had an injury-riddled season, but why not just sit on what you have, let it heal, and then hope it's healthy enough to make a final run and see what you can do in the playoffs?
I agree with you 100%. The only thing that I am concerned about as we head towards playoff time is, are we big enough to match up against the Dallas or some of these other bigger teams? Dallas bullied us, man. Took us 7 games. We had them down and we couldn't finish because I think the team just was not stout enough to handle that big lineup that Dallas put out there. I mean, Luka Doncic had his way with us.
I think the Clippers are bigger, for sure. They're going to be teams that cause those matchup problems. But I think the reason why you don't sit on what you have also is because I think you need to add point guard depth. When Chris Paul goes out, this offense stops, and there's no real answer for it. And if you're going to have Devin Booker dealing with hamstring issues and groin issues, I mean, you had to deal with that. When LeBron first got to LA, LeBron hurt his groin. Like, he never was the same, even after he came back that season. Like, those are just hard injuries to overcome. And I just think that that's kind of where they are. And you've got to have a guy who can handle the basketball. And we've seen it happen time and time again. Chris Paul goes into the playoffs. He's playing well. He's doing the Chris Paul thing where in the fourth quarter, you just know he's going to find a way to win the game for you. And then he goes down, and it's a hand injury. It's a wrist injury. It's an ankle injury. But he's a player that gets those injuries. You have to account for that. So I do think you have to find an answer, at least at that position.
So let's say you make a move, you get into the playoffs, you fall flat.
Mm-hmm.
Now what? Do you blow it up a little bit? Do you get rid of Paul? I don't know what happens if you release Paul as far as the cap hit. Do you get rid of Ayton? Do you start trying to rebuild this thing?
Well,
poor guys.
So I don't know what Keon's got there, but CK was tickling the keyboard, and he says after this year, CP3 only guaranteed $15 million next year. The following season in 2025, CP3 has 0 guaranteed, and the Suns could cut him or whatever, move him at that point.
I don't know where you're looking. I'm looking at Spot Track, and Spot Track has his base salary at 30 mil. So,
but what's guaranteed?
Well, my little things are not reloading here, but I think
your thing's not reloading.
The base salary is.
It happens as you get older.
Well,
the thing doesn't reload as quickly.
Gotta call
spinning beach ball of death.
Him
sometimes
Roman or something.
Or you got to get up there to guys. Get the arrow sharpened. You know what I mean? Wait, sorry. What are we talking about again? I'm sorry.
I'm not sure.
we have a lot of mixed metaphors going on. I've actually become confused.
Happens a lot on this show.
Yeah, but the base salary, from what I understand, usually is that guaranteed money. But still, even if that's the case, you're still going to have a cap. You're still going to have a cap hit if you release him at that point. So what are you going to do? Obviously, the last year is going to be the easiest one to move on from. I wouldn't just cut him. Obviously, I think if you have an expiring contract that's that size, teams value that because that's how they free up cap space. Well, so you can trade that for something, but if you want to win right now,
about 20 days when Matt Ishbia and his group take ownership of this team, I think we will start to see what direction they're going to go. I have a feeling that this is a money guy. And he's a guy that wants to win. Clearly, he walks on at Michigan State, ends up making the team, part of the national championship team. This guy wants to win. So who knows? Maybe something crazy and different here in the Arizona sports scene. Maybe we have an owner that actually spends some money. Huh.
If you do, then he won't mind a little luxury tax. That's not going to bother him.
Well, it's like I said earlier. And I agree with you 110%, Ralph. You got to spend to win in the NBA. Yep. If you're not at or above the luxury tax, you're not trying hard enough.
or you've drafted very well. Like that's your only other option there. It's like, you got a bunch of young guys.
888-368-1580. Stockton Slap with a just absolute ludicrous thing here. Trade them for Westbrook. Okay, yeah, yeah. That's 2 minutes.
I'd be okay with that.
That's 2 minutes for you, Stockton Slap. Sorry, that was ridiculous. Aiden's Army says Chris Paul is becoming a defensive liability in the playoffs, and we have to bench him when teams exploit CP3 in isolation. That's what Dallas and New Orleans showed everyone last playoffs. Yeah, that's my point exactly. So that's why I think you have to make a move right now at this trade deadline and bring somebody else in that can play alongside or in tandem with Chris Paul. Not to rely on him solely as your point guard, but somebody that's good enough that can drive this team as well as Chris Paul. Whistling Gerbil says Suns missed their window. Time to rebuild again. I don't think so.
I don't know. I think that there's a reboot conversation to be had, not a rebuild, because you're still going to have Devin Booker. So that's not a rebuild. Okay. You're still going to have Cam Johnson, who looks like he's coming into his own. That's not a rebuild. I don't know how they feel about DeAndre Ayton, though. He's the guy that I think is the most in flux. If they don't like him, if they think, okay, we've paid you and you're not up to the standard we want or that we're looking for, then there are teams who value what DeAndre Ayton is. If you can move him, you might give yourself an opportunity to try and find that other third member to add to your core.
I do agree with him. I mean, I think every team not every team, but a lot of teams get through these windows. They have these little windows of opportunity, and it feels like that window is kind of closed a little bit. It's not what it was, right? It was really
wide
for the
open Suns,
there. Yeah, for the Suns, it was really wide open. It just feels like it's shutting ever more every day. I mean, so
yeah.
And that's part of it. I agree with that, by the way, because if you look at the Western Conference, how many teams are better now that weren't even good when the Suns had their window at its most open? The Kings are good now. The Pelicans are competitive every single night. Obviously, the Grizzlies. Dallas has gotten better every year that Luka's continued to grow.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves are always a threat, and the Utah Jazz win basketball games now, and I don't even know how to feel about that. Like, what is happening with Lauri Markkanen? He just didn't exist in the league, and then all of a sudden he can play basketball now. Okay, I'll roll with it. But like, I just think that the West has somehow gotten even deeper, and that means that if you're the Suns, you can't just keep running out the same lineup of guys. You have to find a way to upgrade.
888-368-1580. Baker's Cocky Hens has a suggestion. How about we trade Ayton for Draymond and Wiseman? Well, Draymond's not going to really help us at all.
At least not scoring. There's a lot of things that Draymond could do. Yeah. Scoring the basketball is not one of them. And Wiseman is still a question mark. I would take a swing at it, honestly, because I think that Monty could find some interesting things to do, but the Warriors aren't going to give that dude up.
No way. That's the future. Mr. Wilbur on the text line says, if you speak to Jeffrey, ask him for me if you've ever been in a Turkish prison. Mr. Wilbur, have you been in a Turkish prison?
Interesting.
Just brought the whole show to an end. Screeching halt. I'll tell you what, let's reset. Let's go to break here. I know it's a whole minute early. But we here on the Daily Blender try to be an example for the rest of the air staff. So we're going to go to break early here. When we come back, let's talk a little more NBA. No, actually, we're gonna shift over to NFL. Sorry, I misspoke there. I was reading my paper and I just missed. You know what? It's almost 38 now, so I might as well just kind of waste time for 30 seconds. Radio Ron hates it when we do stuff like this.
I've heard.
I would just like to point out that the Lakers won yesterday.
That did happen.
And Davis, had a great game.
How hard did you swallow when you saw AD go down with that twisted ankle?
Swallowed a little.
Yeah. Oh God, no! I know what you did. That's a Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name is Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
There's no doubt that Harmon Solar can save you up to 85% on your monthly electric bill. That's a fact. Bruce Jacobs here. But did you know it's possible to get solar for $0 down and no payments for 12 months? You can lease, finance, or even purchase outright. They have plans that fit everybody. Harmon Solar is a family-owned, woman-owned local company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar at 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189, or go to harmonsolar.com.
If you are an IT professional looking for an opportunity with great benefits, the freedom to creatively solve problems in a career with great growth potential and a team environment, look no further than Affinity Technology. Serving the Valley since 1992, Affinity Technology is looking for a level 1 tech to develop and deliver excellent solutions and outstanding customer service. Visit atechaz.com/jobs and get started with your future today. That's atechaz.com/jobs.
My king, you're up early.
Awake, Merlin. I've had a dream that needs interpretation.
Sorry, he turned into an owl and flew the coop 4 days ago.
Good sorcerers, seers, and mystics are hard to come by anymore. And given the inevitable uncertainties of life, insuring against calamity is always the smarter play. From benefits and workers' comp to home, business, and group health insurance, Cole Hayes Insurance will secure your future. For a free quote, visit mycommercialinsurance.com.
Download our free sports app and stay up with all the latest sports news, scores, highlights, and more. Or stream us live anywhere at 1580thefanatic.com. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, Arizona's home for sports.
Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic on a Thursday. We're in hour 2 heading for 6 o'clock tonight, but I've been updated. I have this update to our lineup today. This is breaking news.
Newsflash. This is breaking news.
I've just been informed that we're going off the air at 5:45 tonight to make way for Michael Potter and the GCU Lopes basketball game. I've been telling you all week the tip time is at 6. That is correct. I have not lied to you. Nor will I ever knowingly lie to you. But tonight we will be leaving the air at 5:45 to make room for GCU Antelopes basketball. No, Lost Toby. I'm not buying it. Lost Toby texts in at 888-368-1580 and says Colts have a new head coach and has a picture here. Once again, you've used the same head from the beach photograph, supposedly being Jeffrey laying low in Mexico, and you've used that same headshot and put it on somebody else's body. And it's this creepy looking picture of Jeffrey too, by the way. It's the one I think I took of him when he was growing his beard and he has those googly looking eyes.
Is that his Twitter profile picture?
It's that look right there.
I think that's his Twitter profile picture.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Which is a funny Twitter profile picture, but that means that's the only picture of Jeffrey that he could find.
Yeah. No loss, Toby. I'm not buying it.
Who is hanging out in Mexico that looks like that?
And you got Jeffrey wearing a suit next to Jimmer say, no, I'm not buying it. Jeffrey O'Brien on assignment. My name is Randy White. That's Keon Rose and Ralph and his Magic Johnson. I mean,
I think you found your thing.
I mean, does it get any better than that one? Baker's Cocky Hens checks in and says Draymond Green doesn't score, but he increasing score for everyone else. What? And Golden State needs a change. We could give them Monty also and Griner. Now you're just being ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't understand that, but I have a feeling that if you took DeAndre Ayton and put him in that Warriors system and surrounded him with all those shooters, I don't think that Suns fans want to see that.
King of Kittens simply text 1978 movie Midnight Express. American gets sent to a Turkish prison. Jeez. And with that, we move on. 888-368-1580. Jeez. You guys think golf is dangerous?
Can be.
Yeah, I mean, it has a possibility of being dangerous, but it's usually not.
Mm-hmm. I may have the wrong story here, but there's a story out there about John Rahm, who when he played in the Players, Sage Steele was covering the tournament for the ESPN, and he hit a golf shot that was an errant golf shot that apparently struck Sage Steele. I'm working hard to find the story now, because I so wanted to share this story with you. But it hit Sage Steele. Sage Steele, of course, the ESPN Sports Center anchor. And the golf shot hit Sage Steele in the face, breaking 8 teeth.
Wow.
Oh.
And she wasn't standing next to him on the tee box. This was down the way. It came in hot and got her right in the choppers, broke 8 teeth.
Ooh,
that's crazy.
She had to have surgery. Of course, she did not continue broadcasting. She couldn't. But John Rahm did not know this until just recently.
She just never told him.
Just recently, he found out about this.
Wait, when did this happen?
Last year during the Players tournament.
Wow. Okay.
And he had no idea. There was no complaints. He walked up. Apparently the ball hit her so hard, it ricocheted off her face back into the fairway.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That poor woman.
I'm trying to find the whole, but the gist of the story, she got hit in the face. She got 8 teeth replaced from a golf shot.
I don't think I'm going to ever broadcast in golf. I think that's the valuable lesson I've learned today.
And Sage Steele is one of the nicest people ever. I mean, you see her on TV, and I understand she is just really a classy human being in person. And she thanks John for giving her some really nice teeth now.
So there's that. I mean, there are easier ways to have nice teeth.
But he said when he found out about it, he's like, he said, you're tough as nails. I had no idea that I hit you with that ball. I have no idea that I hit you with the ball. And he couldn't believe it. He was just astounded when he found out that, the injuries that she sustained. So yeah.
Because I'm telling you, that hits me in the face. I'm asking for a signed glove, something. I'm coming away with more than just 8 teeth that I have to pay for. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting something out of this. This is ridiculous. And I put you back on the fairway. Come on.
Yeah, and he didn't. And he said he's sorry. He didn't do her right because he didn't birdie the hole. I think he went up and just parred the hole. He's like, I should have at least birdied the hole.
Well, at least he didn't bogey it. Because I'd have driven back from the hospital.
I've got to find that story so I can bring you all the facts. I'm searching for it as I talk to you, but John Rahm, number one, one of the top golfers in the world. I think he hits the ball like 907 miles an hour. Club head speed of probably Mach 4, and hit poor Sage Steele right in the choppers. Wait, here it is. Yeah, he says here, "You're tough as nails. I hit that one hard." Yeah, she was hospitalized, didn't work the rest of the tournament. Last May, the PGA Championship, she was standing left of the third fairway during the opening round at Southern Hills when Rahm hooked a tee ball that hit her in the face, leaving her bloodied and knocking several teeth out. She was hospitalized and did not work the rest of the tournament. Rahm said Tuesday, he wasn't aware of the injury to Sage Steele until later as the ball ricocheted back onto the fairway off her face. He couldn't believe it, he says. I could not believe it. I'm so sorry. Sage Steele, she kept the chat live, telling Rahm that it cost that her co-host Matt Berry wishes he had the honor of being drilled in the mouth by an errant tee shot at the PGA Championship by one of the greatest players in the world, Matt Berry, Arizona's own Matt Berry, ladies and gentlemen.
If you crush half my face with an errant tee shot, get me into the Masters. I'm not even kidding. I am begging for everything. I don't want your money, but get me some nice golf swag. Don't just leave me hanging there.
Golf swag.
She's
holy cow.
She's better than me.
I don't understand. You already gave her a ball.
He didn't, because it went back in play. She gave him a shot to birdie. The only person giving here that I could see is Sage Steele.
Quote, "Let me say, you are as tough as nails. I hit that one hard too. That was coming in with some speed. No, I don't think I birdied it. I think had the chance to birdie it. Yeah, I definitely failed you. I did not take advantage of the whole week. I'm sorry. I really failed you in that sense, but I can't believe how good you look after that. My God."
Yeah, no, seriously. I'm looking at her face and I'm like, you can't tell. There's no way to know. So thanks, doctors.
And you guys think
She doesn't have that West Virginia look at all. No.
I know.
Actually, no.
I know, and this is as God is my way. I was golfing one time, and a friend of mine, I'm not going to name him, but he is a relatively he's a decent golfer. He shoots just above par. And he's telling me about a story one time. He was on the first tee and he was ready to tee off, and something similar to this happened, except the guy was on the 10th tee. Generally, customarily, the 10th tee and the first tee are like right next to each other. Because it's the first half
Right.
and then the second half.
Front nine, back nine, right?
So the guy is standing there. It's like 8:00 in the morning. He's got a cup of coffee in his hands. He's got one foot up on the cart, and he's talking to his partner. They're getting ready to tee off on the first tee. All of a sudden, he hears a smack, a whistle, and the next thing he knows, he's waking up to paramedics. As God is my witness, this is a true story. The ball hit him just below the temple, and he went down. He said the saving thing of the whole story was, I didn't spill a drop of my coffee.
Oh, jeez.
Unbelievable. Also, did I say I wanted to play golf before?
Yeah.
I meant chess. I want to play games inside now.
Mm.
That is horrifying.
Dropped him like a bag of rocks. 1 minute standing there, holding his cup of Joe, ready to tee off. Next minute, he wakes up to paramedics standing over him.
I mean, I've been hit with a golf ball before in the chest, and it does hurt. So I can't even imagine.
Yeah, if that hits you in the face
or the temple. I mean, the chest hurt really bad. So,
damn.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a woman right there.
Sage Steele, you have she's got to be man of the day.
Undying respect right now.
Right? And John Rahm said he heard nothing. He had no idea she was injured. He heard nothing. No complaints, no screaming, no crying, no sniveling, no nothing.
She just went and hid behind the tree.
No, Matt Berry was hiding behind the tree.
Oh,
Sage Steele was out there in the open. Standing there 1 minute, ready to do a live hit, and bam, the next, she has no teeth. They're all around her. Jeez. Hit her in the face, knocking several teeth out. Holy mackerel. Ladies and gentlemen, golf is dangerous. 888-368-1580. Deebo Samuel said something here recently that's reminiscent of what's already happened once, and I wonder how this is going to greet him. Deebo Samuel was doing an interview, and he says, quote, "We know it's going to be loud, but no stadium is as loud as ours at the end of the day." God, I hate that when they say that. At the end of the day. They're at home, NFC Championship. They're going to be all riled up. We don't really too much feed into all that because we put the pads on and just go to work, end quote. Okay. Deebo Samuel doesn't, he doesn't know he's going to Philadelphia, does he? He thinks he's going to Tampa Bay, right?
That has to be it.
He doesn't know he's going to Philadelphia where they threw batteries at Santa Claus.
And then boot him.
Yeah.
And then boot him. Yeah.
How much do you think that the professional football players, Ralph, you're a former athlete, you know, when you're playing, you don't think too much about their, I mean, when I played, I'm a former athlete. When I played, I wasn't really riled up by the crowd at all, whether it was at home or away. Of course, I didn't play in front of 70,000,
Right.
raving lunatics in Philadelphia.
I was just going to say that. I mean, I've played in front of crowds in multiple sports, but I feel like 70,000 people, especially if that's your people, that's really going to give you a lot of energy and bring you a lot of stuff. And if it's against you, I think it's going to have an impact on the way you play. There's no doubt. You're going to hear it.
Why would he say that to give Philadelphia fans something? Because they're all stupid. Philadelphia fans are extremely educated when it comes to sports, and they pick up on all of this stuff, and they use it.
He's feeding the fire. I mean, I think that was a mistake. It's just shut your mouth, go play the game. Don't talk about it.
So, yeah, go ahead, Kim.
This AFC NFC week has had some chirping going on.
Yeah.
You have Deebo saying that. I think you had the Chiefs linebacker Willie Gay say that nothing about the Bengals interests him. Nothing were his exact words. There are teams that are saying some things right now that I'm like, you're going to regret that this weekend. You understand that, right?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, and we should talk about it a little bit. We'll break down the NFC Championship game. We'll not break it down, but we'll talk about it when we come back for hour number 3. Actually, it's 45 minutes number 3, because we're out of here at 5:45 for the GCU game against Abilene Christian. Coming up top of the hour with Michael Potter. We'll talk about that and so much more. We got on this date in Big Georgia sports history, and maybe we'll even get to a sports wheel. I don't know. It's a Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, your exclusive home for the NFL. Yeah.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you a planner? Do you like to plan ahead? Then, of course, you already have a plan to call Harmon Solar, right? Bruce Jacobs here. It should be at the top of your list to get solar now and enjoy huge savings next summer. Up to 85% on your monthly bill with 0 down and no payments for 12 months. Then you can plan what to do with all that extra money. Harmon Solar is a family-owned, women-owned, local company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar 800-281-3189 or go to harmonsolar.com.
When it comes to covering the high school sports scene in Arizona, AZ Preps 365 has all the answers. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 10, they break down games, interview the newsmakers, talk with coaches from around the state, and stay up to date with what's happening with prep athletes and breaking news from the Arizona prep scene. It's AZ Preps 365, 8 till 10 Saturday mornings on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
The Vince Lombardi Trophy. The live radio broadcast of the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 57 on The Fanatic is presented by Kasai Japanese Steakhouse, American Furniture Warehouse, Harmon Solar, IQ Wealth Management, Hemingway e-bike. Don't miss a moment of the action and excitement of the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 57. Live from Glendale on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, your exclusive home for the NFL.
Arizona offers thousands of helpful resources for service members, veterans, and their families. But navigating the system can be confusing and overwhelming. Call 866-4AZ-VETS to talk directly to caring people professionally trained to help you. Get connected to resources and benefits at no cost. Just call 866-4AZ-VETS now. This message is brought to you by the Arizona Coalition for Military Families, the Arizona Department of Veteran Services, and Arizona's Be Connected partners.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third
hour. All right, people, settle down because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Well, you heard Jim Barnett. Third hour. Thanks, Jim, for that intro. It's the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Your home, your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs coming up this weekend. NFC, AFC Championship games and Super Bowl 57 on February 12. Wall-to-wall coverage here on The Fanatic. Right over there, that's the sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio, Keon Rose. Next to him, it's Harmon Solar Ralph. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien is on assignment this week. You're on the text line at 888-368-1580 as we broadcast live from the Harmon Solar Studios in beautiful Scottsdale. Text line humming along here. Swave Dave says, I think I know where Jeffrey is. He's on consignment. No, he's on assignment. He's on consignment with a new blender franchise for training. Because let's face it, you guys are the gold standard for radio, sports talk, and text broadcasting. Thank you, Swave Dave. That check will be there tomorrow. King of Kittens says, have you talked about the food delivery guy that interrupted the basketball game? The video shows over and over. Best part of it is on the play, the girl just totally passed the ball to the other team. So there was this college game going on, and as a prank, and I think it was one of those click clack. What is the social click clock? TikTok.
TikTok.
That's
Yeah.
it. Okay. So apparently this guy was delivering some McDonald's to a college basketball game and walked right out on the court in the middle play. Stopped the game. No, I didn't talk about it because I thought it's kind of dumb. I mean, why would you walk out in the middle of the, okay, for self, what am I trying to think of, to make your clicks go up or whatever it is there on the TikTok. But I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was kind of rude, actually.
Yeah, I don't think that's funny at all. And you don't want to promote that.
So
I mean, these are athletes who are in that moment doing their jobs.
Yeah.
You know, if they were in a classroom and then some guy walked in with McDonald's, hey, I got a Big Mac for Dennis. Like,
see, now that's funny.
Like in the middle of a test or an exam, it would be hilarious, but it wouldn't be okay. Like, you know, I mean, it would still be wrong.
That just sounds like Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah. Just
that's right. The pizza in class.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a killjoy. I'm sorry, King of Kittens. No, we did not talk about that. Blissful Hayes says new Suns owner Matt Ishbia's first question to GM James Jones is in his Sam Kinison voice. What the hell are you doing paying Jay Crowder over $10 million to not show up for work?
Yeah, do you know who Sam Kinison is?
Can't say that I do.
Yeah, he was a comedian. He screamed like that.
Yeah, you need to look him up.
Will do. I do love the comedy. So
yeah, Blissful Hayes also says that DoorDash delivery prank at a basketball game reminds me of when Spicoli ordered pizza during Mr. Hand's high school history class.
Yep, Fast Times.
Lost Toby said Jeffrey's throwing money away in Mexico. What? Yachting? On his yacht on assignment? Okay, now this time he's got a different picture. It's not that crazy wild-eyed picture. And again, that's a clip from the movie Wolf of Wall Street. That is not Jeffrey O'Brien. I'm sorry, Lost Toby. Strike three.
Good.
CK says nothing wrong with what Debo said. Seattle will end up being louder than Philly.
That's true.
Seattle will end up being louder than Philly.
But that's not what he said. He wasn't talking about Seattle. He said we're louder.
Yeah, Debo plays for San Francisco.
He didn't give Seattle a compliment in any of this. He said San Fran is louder than Philly, which is maybe true, maybe not true. I have no idea.
That's true.
But Philly is meaner than everybody. So I'm just saying, when you sit on the bench and you hear deeply personal things that some Philadelphia fan researched about your family, don't get mad, okay? Because they're terrible people, okay? They're awful. I have a bunch of friends from Philadelphia, and they do crap like this because that's how they have fun at games. No, Google what this guy's girlfriend is, and then say just horrible, deeply offensive things about your personal life. Don't get mad. It may not be louder in the link, but it's meaner in the link. I can promise you that.
Oh, you can tell you're a Washington fan. Holy moly.
Philadelphia fans are just different. They're just different.
To add more fuel to the fire, Paker's Cocky Hens says, have you seen the movie Friday? Philly better have more than 70,000 people with batteries to take out Debo. 49ers want the best out of Philly. Die, Eagles, die. Sirianni going to look dumb at his initial press conference. Wow, that was a rant by Baker's Cocky Hens.
Yeah, it was.
He also said, as far as for John Rahm hitting Sage Steele in the face with the tee shot, he says he feels like Rahm should have taken an 8 on the hole because she got 8 teeth knocked out.
Nice.
Should have taken an 8. He also says the red blood dot on the ball wasn't a clue. I don't think the ball had any blood on it because it hit her and ricocheted off her face into the fairway.
So the blood was all coming from
there
her
was
teeth.
no blood on the ball.
It's not like her mouth was open and then it like hit her in the teeth.
No,
it hit the side of her face and broke the teeth.
Hit her in the face.
Through her face.
And ricocheted on into the fairway.
That is the part that scares me to death. It broke 8 of her teeth through her face.
I don't know, Steve. It looks like a fortuitous bounce for Ron. That one must have hit a tree limb.
Where's the video of this? Who?
He got lucky on that one, Steve. Because, man, he got all of that one. That was a screamer. I could do golf.
You could do golf for sure.
I was watching the golf today. These guys, I don't think they really realize what they're saying. They were talking about a golfer he has a basketball background, and there's another guy that he played for Kansas, I think. What's his name? He won the Phoenix Open. I can't think of it right now. But he, what's his name? The golfer that won the Phoenix Open, not last year, but a couple of years ago. And is it Gary? No, not Gary. Anyway,
was it Scotty Scheffler?
No, it wasn't Scotty Scheffler. But let's just say, for example, it was Scotty Scheffler. The golf announcer says, "Oh, Bill, Bill, here comes Jack. He's got a little Scotty Scheffler in him because he's got a basketball background." Like, really? Did you just say that on live television? Really?
I don't think
he's got a little of this guy in him. What the hell is going on?
That golf broadcasters think about puns at all. Like, they're the one sport you don't need to say anything clever. So I don't even think they think about it.
What's this? What's this shot look like? Well, it's in the sand trap, and he's got to hit it out of the sand and then get it on the green.
They're just straightforward.
That was a real fortuitous bounce. Must have hit a tree limb back in the fairway. Let's see here. Scratch me because says, does Ralph actually work at Harman Solar, or is he just a spokesmodel?
If I'm a spokesmodel, that's a rough place. No, I actually work there. I'm the VP of sales and marketing.
See that? He's Mr. Important.
To somebody.
You're important to us, Ralph. Taco Kenny says, Randy, give yourself a shot of your choice for that flawless Sam Kinison voice. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take my shot after I get off the air. 888-368-1580. So Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts matching up this weekend. Who would have called it, first of all, Brock Purdy being Mr. Irrelevant, showing up all of a sudden, leading the San Francisco 49ers. Is it 7 in a row now, including the playoff wins?
Yep. I thought it was 8, isn't it? 7?
Is it 7 or 8?
Well,
anyway,
it was 5 in a row to end the season, and then
so it's 7
wild card. Yeah, so
7 in a row, and he's going to go up against Philadelphia. It's not the first time that he has faced off against Jalen Hurts, though. The last time these guys faced off, Brock Purdy, you may recall, was team captain and quarterback for the Iowa State Cyclones, and Jalen Hurts was the team captain and quarterback for the University of Oklahoma Sooners. And these two had a real classic game. It was a high scoring game. Defense was optional in this game, obviously. 42-41 final score. Of course, it was Big 12, so they don't really play defense in the Big 12, do they?
Well, that, and of course, it's a Lincoln Riley offense in the Big 12. It's like, what are you going to do?
Yep. Came down to a last second throw by Purdy, was picked off by Parnell Motley, which ended the game 42-41. Sooners win.
So
can we expect more of that this weekend, these two guys, or I think it's going to be much different. I think the way I see it, I think Dark Helmet has a game plan that he wants executed, and I think Brock Purdy is not going to blow his chance at the NFL level to all of a sudden go rogue and be a gunslinger. Do you?
No, because he doesn't have to be. I mean, we've talked about it a bunch. That team is absolutely loaded, and he's been playing within the offense. I think that's what Kyle Shanahan really likes about him, is that offense has a flow, and Brock Purdy doesn't really do any extracurricular stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's not trying to make the game too hard. He really just does what the play is designed to do. And I think that while that doesn't sound that impressive, it's actually very important for that. And that's the reason why they're able to score the way that they score. And I think the same thing is kind of true for Philly, except that Philly obviously had more time to say, okay, we're going to build around Jalen Hurts. We're going to turn our offense into an RPO offense because that's what Jalen does well. And we're going to build off of that. And I think that is these two teams have two of the best offenses in football. They just also happen to have the two best defenses in football. So I don't think we're looking at another 42-41 matchup between these two guys.
So if I can be so bold and ask, so who do you give the edge to as far as a defense? Philadelphia, strong defense, strong against the run game, shut down the Giants pretty well, can get to the quarterback. Or do you give the defensive edge to the San Francisco 49ers? By the way, they've held teams to, I don't know what the score is, but basically a low score. Maybe the scoring average of the Denver Broncos with Russ this year, like 19 points or something. Do you give the edge to San Francisco or to Philadelphia?
I give the edge. I look at who they're going up against and what they can do based on that. And I'm going to give the edge to the Eagles, because I feel like they're going to go against a guy that they can really rattle at some point, which I've seen a couple of teams do now in 2 consecutive weeks, even though he's come out on top. But I think the Eagles are so good on defense that they really can get after him and rattle him. That'll make a bigger difference in the game versus I don't know that Jalen Hurts can get too rattled by that Frisco defense. I think there's an impact of playing a group that great, but I think Purdy's probably going to be impacted a little bit more with who he's facing.
Do you agree with that, Keon?
Yeah, I can see that. I think that Philly is so good at stopping the run. I think we forget how good they are at also stopping the pass as well. This is a matchup, I think, dream for the Eagles defense. But I will say, we're talking about the two best defenses in the league when it comes to yards allowed. The Niners have the best defense in yards allowed, and the Eagles have the second best defense. So they got here by defense. I'm giving the edge to Philly, and I know the Niner fans are going to text in and have a bunch of stuff to say about it, but it's a slight edge because it's not a big edge at all. Both of these defenses are amazing.
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Do you guys agree with that or disagree with it?
I can see that because you have two teams that really prefer to run the football, and when you have that against two great defenses, it almost is who's going to break first, who's going to make the big mistake first. The Niners are coming off of a close game that they just played. Where it was just exactly like that against Dallas, where Dallas likes to run the football as well. So now you're going up against another NFC East team that loves to do it. They do it in a different way, but I don't see how you get to a high scoring game with all of the top flight defensive talent involved on both sides. Sunday
is going to be 53 and cloudy, so it's going to be a nice day. It's not going to be a rainy day or a snowy day. It should be conducive to some good football. And I think if Jalen Hurts is strong enough, and I think if they can execute their game plan, Sirianni's game plan, I think there shouldn't be any problem with Philadelphia executing their game plan and winning, because I think San Francisco is at a disadvantage here. I feel like San Francisco's at a disadvantage because they don't have a running quarterback. They've got a rookie back there, and I think they're going to be somewhat limited as to what they can do. It's going to have to be sort of, get the ball to one of the weapons and let them do the work. Brock Purdy doesn't want to give the ball up because if you start turning the ball over, obviously, that's going to cost you the game as well.
I think to what Keon was saying, you have two defenses that are almost identical, just as good as each other. You have two offenses full of weapons, almost as good as each other. But I think the biggest difference you have in this game is Jalen Hurts versus Brock Purdy. And I don't know about you, I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts over Brock Purdy because he just doesn't have the experience. I could be totally wrong and he can shock the heck out of us, but I don't see it. I think he'll get rattled first. I think he'll make the mistake first.
All right, Keon.
We're on the same page. I'm leaning Eagles on this one just because of that. And the Niners were put in a position, unfortunately, because of the injuries to Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance, that they didn't plan for Brock Purdy to be their guy at this point in the year.
Right.
It worked out. Brock Purdy's been amazing, but this wasn't the plan. For the Eagles, this is the plan.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts was the plan the whole time.
Yeah.
They built the offensive line for him. They got a running game for him. They went out and got receivers for him, A.J. Brown. And obviously, Devontae Smith is still there. We just forget he exists all the time because A.J.'s so good. They did everything in this organization to make Jalen Hurts comfortable in a way that Brock Purdy, the Niners never got the chance to do that for him.
Right.
Yeah. So Big George says prediction: San Francisco's offense will outperform Philadelphia's offense and take out a victory. Eagles will fall. Go 49ers. That according to Big George. Randy's chuckle says, do you know what team has the most yards allowed after being touched by a defender? The Cardinals. Thanks very much, Randy's chuckle. CK says Purdy's streak should be 8. They aren't counting the game where he came in for Jimmy G, even though it was only about 3 minutes into the game. Well, okay, 7, 8. Still, it's a hell of a lot of games and a lot of success for a young rookie quarterback to come out there and lead this team all the way to the NFC Championship game. Mr. Wilbur says, get off Ralph's back and he'll get off your mom. Hey-oh! Wow. Harmon Solar is a good company. Why people don't get solar, I can't figure it out.
I agree with you 100%.
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Wilbur. Is Ralph paying you? Woos says, hi, guys, can confirm Philly fans are a different mindset. Hopefully they will not pass out anything to fans in the stadium Sunday that can be thrown onto the field.
They know better at this point.
I can almost guarantee that they will. All right. When we come back, we'll continue some more NFL talk. We're heading for 545 and Lopes basketball on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update for Arizona's new home for sports, The Fanatic. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
With 4 teams left in the NFL playoffs, some prop bets for championship weekend. Each team scoring at least 1 touchdown in the championship game, that is minus 600. Each team scoring a field goal in the championship game is minus 105. Now, each team scoring 2+ touchdowns in the championship games, plus 155. Both opening kickoffs in the championship game being touchbacks, plus 230. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts combining for 9+ touchdowns. You can get that at plus 750. And each team scoring a passing touchdown, plus 110. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% when you use the promo code ACTION75. Experts.winnersandwiners.com. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
If you are an IT professional looking for an opportunity with great benefits, the freedom to creatively solve problems in a career with great growth potential and a team environment, look no further than Affinity Technology. Serving the Valley since 1992, Affinity Technology is looking for a level 1 tech to develop and deliver excellent solutions and outstanding customer service. Visit atechaz.com/jobs and get started with your future today. That's atechaz.com/jobs.
One trip down Scottsdale Road and it's obvious. Snowbird season is here. You know what else is on Scottsdale Road? The absolute best restaurant to take your out-of-town friends and family to. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. No one does it better than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is dinnertainment at its best, where a delicious 7-course meal prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for any occasion. Choose from over 50 different items and combinations of teppanyaki. Looking for great dining without a show? Well, Kasai offers an awesome selection of Asian-inspired dishes and tasty sushi. Happy hour deals daily till 6 p.m. and enjoy the outdoor dining on the heated patio. So whether you're here for the open, the big game, or just a great Arizona sunshine, don't just take your guests to dinner. Take them to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse for dinnertainment. Visit KasaiScottsdale.com. That's KASAI Scottsdale.com. Or call 480-607-1114.
It's win or go home. Let's go, boys! When Joe Burrow and the Bengals hit to KC to tangle with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Put up or shut up, sir.
After stunning the Bills, the Bengals hope to repeat their win from last year. Not even an ankle sprain will keep the Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes on the sideline for their chance at another Super Bowl victory. It all comes down to this. Bengals at Chiefs, this Sunday at 5 p.m. on your home for the NFL, playoffs, and Super Bowl 57, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
About 22 minutes away from GCU Lopes basketball on the flamethrower here. 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic. And don't forget, GCU returns Saturday, 6 o'clock tip time as they take on Tarleton in Texas. The Tarleton Texans is who they're facing. This came out of baseball real quick, Ralph. I think you're going to like this. The Houston Astros announced Thursday they've hired Dana Brown, previously with the Atlanta Braves, who was the vice president of scouting, as their new general manager, and they're ending a 2-month search after they parted ways with James Click. The where was I? Lost my mind. Yeah, I've lost my place. Dana Brown has 4-year tenure with the Braves. He was the head of scouting. Brown worked with the Toronto Blue Jays for 9 years as a special assistant to the general manager. He also had stints with the Washington Nationals and was a scout for the Pittsburgh Pirates. As during Brown's time with the Braves, he saw the team build a reputation as one of the top organizations in baseball when it comes to identifying and developing young talent. So he's going to be tasked with making sure that this Houston Astros team continues to develop young talent and to promote from within. Bringing in a GM with scouting-heavy resume broadcast a clear message from the owner, Jim Crane, who was reportedly chafed at the team's famously analytics-heavy approach while his team had enjoyed a run of success that includes 2 World Series titles, 6 straight ALCS appearances, and 4 100 seasons. Oh, by the way, it's good to note here, not that it's a major issue in my mind, but I guess everybody else wants to know, Brown is the only black general manager in Major League Baseball.
Really?
Huh. I found it hard to believe too.
I know him. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I know of him. He's very well respected in MLB. He was a fantastic scout, actually, and he's done a really good job with the Braves. And I think he's a really good hire for as much as I hate the Astros, I think he's a really good hire for them, but I think he can help get that place going right on track.
3 things here. This is an organization, they've had a lot of success, but they're doing it right. They're developing their young talent.
Yeah.
They're identifying young talent and bringing it in. And I think in the modern era of baseball, that's what you have to do. You've got to.
There's no other way to do it. I mean, that's how you do it. That's how the championship organizations do it. It just makes a lot of sense. And he is the perfect guy to bring that to Houston and to really help them build on what they've been doing and even get better going forward. A great hire. Hate to see it for a team that I can't stand, but really good hire.
Yeah. And I am shocked. I am with the amount of diversity in baseball today that Dana Brown is the only black general manager in Major League Baseball. You could knock me
surprising.
Over. I think it kind of goes back to before the World Series, what Dusty Baker was talking about of just we've seen the lack of black players. Well, if you have less black players, what most people do when their career is over is they go back to work in baseball, in front offices and on coaching staffs. Well, if you're lacking those players, you will be lacking those coaches and front office people. So I do think that what Dusty Baker was talking about before the World Series kind of goes to that, where if we're not getting enough players in baseball from, black communities, then you're not going to, down the line, you're not going to get those front office people that you'd love to see, that would get those opportunities.
I'd be curious to look at, I mean, that's a really good point, but I'd be curious to look at, if you look at the total body of players in the MLB, it seems to be a really diversified, good mix between, all the different, white, black, Latino. I mean, even the Asian players now that are coming over from overseas. I wonder really what the percentages are. I've never really looked at that. I'm sure someone has, but I'd be curious. I know the Latin contingent of players has really grown over the last 5 years. You're seeing a lot of really good talent come from the Latin countries, Caribbean countries, Mexico. So I'd be really curious to see that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, congratulations, Dana Brown. And I hate to say it, but I mean, good for the Houston Astros bringing in a quality human being with a great resume. And it doesn't matter what the color of his skin is. He's the right man for the job, bringing him in. Right man for the job.
He's a good guy.
888-368-1580. So the AFC Championship happening this weekend. Chiefs and the Bengals. Now the Bengals seem to have something on the Chiefs. Now, when Andy Reid was with the Eagles, the big knock there was he could never seem to get to the big game. He could never seem to get to the Super Bowl. He would get the team through the playoffs. He'd get the team to the championship game, but he would always fall short. And I know he's got a Super Bowl with the Chiefs before, but since then, I mean, 5 trips to the postseason, 5 trips to the championship game, 1 Super Bowl. Is the same thing with Andy Reid still, legitimate today? Is he unable to get this team to the Super Bowl?
No, because he's been to 2 with this Chiefs team. They lost in that 1 Super Bowl because their offensive line became tissue paper instantly. But I don't think that. I think we have to put that away. I mean, the dude has now been in his career to 3 of them. He only won 1, but he's been to 3. And most coaches can't even say that. So I just think that it's a little unfair to stick to Andy Reid. I think that's an old narrative that's hanging around him, and it's about time it went away.
So what are we looking for this Sunday when Joe Burrow and the Bengals head in there? Now, keep in mind, the Bengals look like their center is getting more healthy. It looks like they might get their left tackle back. I mean, it's been widely publicized. Their offensive line has been injured. They haven't had their starters in there. It's been a mishmash of guys playing that position and Joe Burrow has still continued to deliver. I think I give the edge to the Kansas City Chiefs because of that. But I will say this: the Kansas City's defense haven't really stuck out this season. They haven't been a real shining example of a championship style defense. Would you agree or disagree with that, Keon?
I would agree with that. They're not bad against the run. I think overall they're the 11th team, 11th defense in the league, and a lot of that is how good they are against the run. They're the 8th ranked team against the run. They are the 24th ranked team against the pass. What do
the Bengals do?
The Bengals throw the football. Yeah. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. So and Joe Mixon in the passing game too. So the Bengals throw the ball, but the question always is with the Chiefs, it's a shootout every single time for them. But they're good at shootouts. They're the number 1 passing offense in the league. They're the number 1 overall offense in the league. The shootout game is the game that they know how to play, and they play it well. So even though I'm scared about that defense, and I've been saying, at some point that's got to come back and bite them in the ass, it seems like every single time they find a way to score enough points to where it's not an issue somehow.
Yeah. So let me ask you about Patrick Mahomes. All right. We've heard all of the, it's up to Patrick from Andy Reid. And you've heard Patrick, oh, no, I'm good to go. I feel good. I've never felt better in my entire life. That's sort of like the guy that, the kid that he doesn't want to stay home. He's got a fever because he wants to play, and he knows if he has to stay home because he's got a fever, he's not going to be allowed to go out and play. You know what I mean? So Patrick Mahomes has got this injury. I have a feeling it's more serious than letting on. And they're saying all the positive right things, but I think that's a little sportsmanship. I think that's a little gamesmanship between the Chiefs and the Bengals. And I think they want to send a message to the Bengals that, oh no, Patrick Mahomes is just fine. Don't worry, he's going to come out shooting. You think that might be the case, Ralph?
I mean, I do. And, Patrick Mahomes, I don't care if his ankle's falling off. He's going to get some tape it up, and he'll be in that game. And I think it will have a little bit of impact on some of the things he does because he's so creative and so mobile. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to have any kind of major impact on the game. And it's just total gamesmanship as well. Patrick will be there to play. Patrick will do what Patrick does. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I'm with you guys, though. I think the defense of the Chiefs is a little scary. And you know how you get those teams that all of a sudden just everything starts to click and they just start playing just that game that you watch them and go, man, these guys are just on it. That's what I feel about the Bengals right now. They just look like, man, they've got it figured out, and they're really scary right now. And they got a little swagger to them. That's going to be a fantastic game tomorrow. I'm definitely leaning one way, but Sunday. I can't wait to watch this game. I think it's going to be an amazing game.
So, Keon, I'll go to you. High-scoring game, lots of points scored, and kind of a shootout between Mahomes and Burrow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if we think the Eagles and the Niners are going to be a low-scoring game, and it sounds like we all agree on that, this is the opposite game. You know, we've got two secondaries that aren't great. You know, the Bengals have the better one, but it's not by a whole lot. They can absolutely be thrown on, and the Chiefs do that better than anybody else in football. But it also seems like the Bengals are the only team in the league that have figured out the Chiefs. They keep beating them. They beat them last year in the playoffs, beat them again this year in the regular season, and now we've got another chance of Mahomes and Burrow going head to head. And I'm sure that there's going to be more wrinkles in that Zach Taylor offense because he's got something. He's managed to bottle something that no one else in the league really, really has. But they're going to go back and forth. I mean, the Chiefs are not stoppable. And you mentioned there's some gamesmanship with Pat Mahomes. I think that there is some. We know two things about Patrick Mahomes. A, he's hurt. B, he's playing. But what we don't know is how hurt. And I think that the Chiefs are trying to make it seem like it's business as usual. But Patrick Mahomes didn't get outside the pocket after he got injured. Now, it's a testament to him that he became a pocket passer because he had to, and nothing changed. He came back, and they were fine. But if, you have a week with that ankle, it swells up, it's a little bit more painful, it's maybe a little bit more tender, you don't have the adrenaline. Is it possible that Patrick Mahomes may not be able to play outside of the pocket and make those plays with his legs that extend things that he's used to? Because that's going to limit the Chiefs as well.
I feel like we're going to find out here pretty quick. He's going to make a cut or something. And I have a feeling that you're going to see maybe a limp come into play here. Let me look up the weather in Kansas City for this weekend. I should have done that.
It's going to be really cold.
Weather in Kansas City. It looks like it's going to be 20. They're calling it 53 degrees for the high. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I was reading the wrong one. I'm sorry. Sunday, 27 and partly sunny. 27 and partly sunny. No snow. It doesn't seem like they have any snow listed or rain, but it's going to be it's going to be a blustery or a cold day there in Arrowhead. And that's another thing. There's some guys out there saying it's Burrowhead Stadium because of the success the Bengals have had at Arrowhead against Patrick Mahomes. Again, with the chalkboard material. What the hell's going on here? Burrowhead Stadium?
I doubt any Bengals player said that. I sure hope that that's just the fan base chirping. If anybody said that in that building, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Let's go to the text line quickly before the break. Eddie V checks in at 888-368-1580. What's up, Eddie V? He says, didn't Patrick Mahomes have a foot injury in the last Super Bowl that they were in and they lost? Yes, I think that's right.
Yeah,
I remember that.
It wasn't like this one. And he got the foot injury in the Super Bowl, if I recall correctly, because that offensive line was not good.
Yeah. Boogie is on the text line. Hey, Boogie. Super Bowl is very, very, very hard to get to, incredibly hard, let alone win. Reed is a Hall of Fame coach. I never said he wasn't a Hall of Fame coach. Never said that. The knock is what I said. The thinking is what I said. Never. I 100% agree with you. Andy Reid is a Hall of Fame football coach. You better believe it. King of Kittens says, hey, Ralph, do we want San Diego State in the Pac-12? Suck it, Ralph.
San Diego State in the Pac. I mean, I'm not going to care because SC is going to be over in the, the Big Ten or Big whatever they're going to be. But yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a good move. There's some good quality athletic teams there, so they got to put somebody in there.
Pinocchio gets the last word here. Pinocchio says, if we had a drinking game every time we did a shot when Jeffrey said Casais, I'd be hammered by now. That's a good point. All right. We've got just a few minutes left. Let's take a quick break. When we come back on this date in Big Georgia sports history, and we'll see what else we can dig up. It's the Daily Blender.
Well, we're just going to go up to it here.
Oh, there's no break?
There's no break. We're just going to go.
Well, then let's do on this.
GCU.
Well, we're just going to go right up to GCU then. All right. Very good. That's producing right there. Producing at its finest. Thank you. Let's go ahead and do on this date in Big Georgia's sports history. Back in the year 1986 in Super Bowl XX, the Chicago Bears, after winning 17 of 18 games during the season, demolished the New England Patriots by a score of 46-10 to win their first and only Super Bowl title to date. The Bears' dominating defense caused 6 turnovers, 4 of them leading to 24 points and a safety. In the process of winning their first league championship since they beat the New York Giants in the 1963 title, the Bears set a number of Super Bowl records, including most points scored, most turnovers, most lopsided victory, and most sacks with 7. Wow. Big George. Imagine that. You gave us a on this date in Big Georgia sports history about a Chicago team.
Can't imagine.
Wow.
That ever happening. Wow.
All right. So let's we've got about 5 minutes here, right?
Well, we got about a couple minutes.
We have a couple of minutes.
Yep.
All right,
Literally
let's do one wheel of sports. We're just kind of figuring it out as we go. Florida man was attending a yoga class in Florida.
Outside Florida man.
Florida man was doing an outdoor yoga. It was outdoor there in Florida. Okay. They've got animals in Florida. They have creatures there. And Anna Margaret Sanchez was teaching this free community class, which was out in some park there in the Upper East Side neighborhood of Miami. Started with 20 people, grew over time to the point where attendance would easily top over 100. And regularly, they braved hurricane watches, COVID-19 lockdowns to meet under oak trees on Saturday mornings. And one day, it was a really beautiful day. I kept telling everybody, don't forget to look up. Don't forget to look up. Then I heard a thud during a corpse pose. During a corpse pose. And then she said one of her students was in excruciating pain, bleeding, and unable to open his eyes. Quote, I didn't see it coming. I felt like it was a sandbag that hit me in the face, says Michael. The first thing that went through my head was it must have been a coconut, but there were no coconut trees. It was falling from the tree, a giant green iguana. During Michael's corpse pose, an iguana fell on his face.
There are 2 countries that I will never live in, or 2 countries, 2 places. One is Florida, the other is Australia, and for the same reason. Why are animals always trying to kill you in those places?
I tell and that's the other thing. I used to know somebody that did yoga all the time. Hell no, especially not outdoors. An iguana hit this dude in the face, caused all sorts of damage, had to go to the hospital. All right. That's it for this Thursday edition of the Daily Blender. Ralph, thank you so much for being here. Keon, you're still sexy. Stay sexy, you. I'm Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien still on assignment. Up next over most of these same radio stations, it's GCU Lopes basketball. Bye.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates